At 9.5 seems like an awful lot in that game. That surprises me that line is that big. I would not be. I don't know that I don't think I'd be willing to give 9.5.
I know for a fact I wouldn't. I'm thinking the same thing. That's one that you're trying to bait me in on that one.
Do you feel any different, you two, about the overall series that Minnesota won that first game? You still sticking to your guns with the Spurs?
Oh yeah.
I don't think Spurs will win the series, but yeah, that seems like a lot of points for tonight.
Yeah.
One other note, going back to the Cleveland-Detroit game last night.
I actually would have thought those lines would be switched. I think if there was going to be a 9.5 point favorite, I would have put the Knicks as the 9.5 point favorite and the Spurs as the 6.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
Well, Vegas is good at what they do.
Right. That's what I said. They know how to bait us.
They have good reasoning why they did that. Cleveland-Detroit series, Donovan Mitchell did not get to the free throw line. And after the game, he was asked about that, and he said, I don't flop. Maybe that's why.
I mean, he was attacking the lane, so it's not like he wasn't shying away from anything, but he just wasn't just drawing the contact, but he was attacking. He was in attack mode.
He was averaging 6 free throw attempts per game during the regular season. He said, I'm just not getting the calls. I don't know why. Like I said, he said, I don't flop. Maybe that's why. And this isn't just a tonight thing. This has been an entire series. Of course, this is the first game of this series. It's frustrating a little bit, but because I'm such a dynamic driver, right? But I can't control that. So if they're not going to call it for me, I got to find a way to finish and do that. All of a sudden now, it just seems like the flopping stuff has reared its ugly head more. Not so much even people flopping, just the talk, the conversation of the flopping.
Becomes more polarized this time of year as everything gets slowed down. The whistles are a lot more fluid with everything, more physical.
And players are looking for excuses too.
Players are looking for talking points and excuses to use, in post game. You're absolutely right.
It's still I think my favorite thing about Victor Wembanyama is that he never talks to the official. Like, he doesn't say anything. He never flops. He doesn't say anything. They call a foul on him. He'll even raise his hand and be like, yeah, I fouled him. He runs to the other. Like, he doesn't bother with the officials at all.
Far cry from his predecessor, Tim Duncan, who had that look like he never fouled anyone.
Like, there was one the other night. He got called for an offensive foul that I thought was a little questionable. Didn't even look at the official. Just turns around, runs to the other end of the court, and plays basketball.
It's a breath of fresh air, isn't it?
It is. It's so refreshing to see an NBA player do that, because no NBA player does that. Every NBA player misses a shot. They assume they'll say they got fouled, and if the other guy scores on or whatever, or they never fouled the other guy. If it's called on them, they never foul them, and if it's not called when they miss a shot, they think they got fouled, or they're going to tell the ref they got fouled.
I hope he maintains that practice throughout his career.
I hope he doesn't get too Americanized in that. Like, that's why I feel like they're gonna sway him to the dark side. Like, Duncan's gonna pull him aside. Like, you got to complain more. You got to complain to the officials a lot more than what you're doing, Victor. You're not doing this right.
Make sure we know they're right. It won't be David Robinson. It will be Tim Duncan.
Yes, do it. Yeah, there's no question he's going to be the one. Like, dude, hey, listen, you've never fouled. Just remember this when you're out there. You never foul. Just remember to tell the officials that you've never fouled in your career.
Hour one of the program brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Old Dominick Distillery is pure Memphis spirit, all the way from the winning atmosphere at their downtown distillery to award-winning craft spirits. There's always something happening. Saturday, May 23rd, mark it down. You're invited to Old Dominick's Crawfish Boil. Rock out the music by the Risky Whiskey Boys. Eat big. Wash it all down with a craft cocktail or local beer. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits. Stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. You can learn more at olddominick.com. Just underway on a Wednesday, this is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar-based. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at codesdispensary.com. That's codesdispensary.com.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
This traffic report brought to you by Lauren Tag Hill of Ware Jones Realty. If you're buying a house or selling one and want fast action, contact Lauren Hill at warejones.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Starting a little bit busier here in the last few minutes coming inbound on Sam Cooper right when you come off the interstate. It's heavier than it was 15-20 minutes ago on 385 Billmore Parkway. Expect that to get a little bit heavier as you work your way out of Collierville here in the next few minutes on Billmore Parkway, trying to get up on that ramp there to 240 passing Mount Moriah. Hey, Mother's Day, it'll be here really quick this weekend. As a matter of fact, stop by Weimer's Jewelry today and shop local, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Got a text here from Tiger Steve on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 901-360-8255, 360-8255, Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. It says, where does Duran rank right now among Tiger players? Like, I don't know I guess if you're talking about like all time, like among former Tigers in the NBA, or like currently he's clearly the best former Tiger. I mean, there's nobody else even close to him right now in the NBA.
Yeah, I assume that Tiger Steve is talking about guys that played at the University of Memphis and now with their NBA careers, where does Jalen Duren fit in? Because I don't think he's asking about his 1 year at Memphis, where he stands in history, because what he's doing now has nothing to do with that. But as far as historically, where does Jalen Duren fit? Well, let's think about it. Obviously, Penny Hardaway had a very good career. Derrick Rose was an NBA MVP.
Well, how many former Tigers have been All-Stars? Those two? Who else? What other former Tiger were ever All-Stars in the NBA?
I have to verify, like Larry Keenan.
That's the guy I was thinking of, Larry Keenan, right? I think he was an All-Star, wasn't he? Maybe even like an ABA
right
before they went to the NBA.
He will rank pretty high.
Oh, he's way up there now.
Yeah,
Memphis is just making an All-Star. Yeah, once you make an All-Star team,
Memphis has produced a lot of players over the years,
but it's not a whole lot of accolades that come with those.
Keenan was a 3-time ABA All-Star, 2-time NBA All-Star.
Yeah,
so
Larry was a really good player.
So he'd be happy.
I went down there to San Antonio, did a feature on him. He was such a nice guy. But yeah, Larry Keenan, I would put ahead. I mean, Duran obviously rising. He has a whole career still to go. But I would put Penny ahead of him right now. Keenan, of course, Rose. Other guys played in the NBA for a little bit. CDR played a little bit. Cedric Henderson played a little bit. You got guys that are playing now, like the Minots of the world.
I would put him right above Ren. Because Ren played a long time.
Ren played.
Ren was never an all-star, but he had a long career, so that's a hard. I mean, Duran will certainly, if you don't put him ahead of him now, you would project that he will certainly be ahead of him because I would have guessed that Duran probably makes more all-star teams.
Same thing. Played a long time.
I mean, right now, Elliot Perry never was an all-star, right?
No.
Okay, and Lorenzen wasn't an all-star.
No.
But both had very long NBA careers. Right. How do you compare that to Jalen Duran so far? Just how many years in the NBA now? 5?
This is 5 for him, yeah. 4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah, this I guess be his 5th because this is the last year of his rookie deal.
Yeah. Right, so 5th year, and he's now an all-star. How do you compare one all-star appearance, 5 years, compared to those two guys who played? They had to have played both double digits, right?
Oh, definitely, without question.
10 or more years, right?
Sounds like a fun summer project I might dive into.
Right.
Just so I can get into the deep dive of the numbers, accolades, and get a little deeper into things.
Are we missing anybody obvious?
That's what I was.
This is Duran's 4th year.
Duran's 4th year. Okay.
That's what I was thinking about. Did we miss anybody that was obvious? Cedric Henderson played a while.
Yeah, he played a while, but he was never an all-star and wasn't even a starter for the most part. I think he started a little bit though, if I'm not mistaken. I know Andre Turner was drafted, I think, by the Celtics, but ended up making his name overseas in Spain.
I remember Andre when he was in Philly, too.
Yeah, so he played a little bit in the NBA. I mean, a lot of guys, again, recently that have played a little bit in the NBA and have played back and forth with the G League. Like Naquan Tomlin right now is on Cleveland's roster. Quinones has played somewhat.
I think my man William Bedford had a world championship with the Pistons, so
he did, but I don't know what his numbers are.
He was last dude on the bench.
Yeah, but again, it's like
obviously Keith Lee's career didn't go because of the knees, didn't go where it was.
Lorenzen would be the interesting one to try and compare him to. But again, I mean, Duran's going to surpass him, whether you want to say that he hasn't done it long enough yet, but certainly with what he did this year, you would expect that. Good chance there's more all-star games in his future, and he's only 22 years old, so he's got a long way to go for Jalen Duran before it's all said and done.
I have to remember that when we're killing him for his postseason futility, he's just 22. We got to let him grow up. We can kill him, but he's just 22 years old.
Can't forget James Wiseman's long career, which still somewhat is. I'm being facetious. I mean, unfortunately, he's been a dud. Let's be honest with.
Somebody brings up Vincent Askew.
Vincent Askew had a nice career.
Played a lot
with Seattle. He's a friend of the show, Vincent Askew.
Yeah, because I remember when I was playing AAU basketball, he took care of us when we were at Salt Lake for the summer. We were doing AAU Nationals, and they were doing Salt Lake, with the Summer League, and Vincent Askew took care of us because our coach was former Ole Miss guy, Eric Laird. Back in the day, so and he knew Vincent Askew. They had the great connection from growing up here in Memphis, and he just let us hang out with him.
Had a long career, but he was more of a journeyman, and he wouldn't be at the top here. But shout out Hank McDowell. He played a long time in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I don't know how you want it. Like Vincent Askew and Elliot Perry are very similar. Like as far as they played a long time. Never had, neither one of them ever averaged double-digit points. That type of stuff. It's like, how do you compare one big-time year like he's had? Now, again, it's not like Duran was terrible before this year. Right. He was good before that. So, I think I would put Duran ahead of them right now. Just an all-star game.
Just an all-star.
How long did CDR end up playing in the NBA?
It wasn't long. No, I think he may have got through a contract. Maybe
that was it.
Rookie contract or so.
Dorsey played a little bit in the NBA too, right? He ended up with the Raptors, maybe the Rockets. I'm trying to remember his.
Texter brings up Tyreek Evans.
Tyreek Evans was a rookie of the year.
Right? They kind of faded out. I don't really know what faded out.
Remember he was with the Grizzlies, and I remember on this show saying, "You got to trade him for something. You're going to end up getting nothing for him." Remember Chris Wallace said, "Yeah, you ended up getting nothing for him."
I don't know.
Tyreek would certainly be ahead.
Tyreek, absolutely.
Tyreek
was nice.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, he averaged 20 a game his rookie year.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like you average 20 in this league as a rookie, you know.
Yeah, he would definitely he would be ahead of him right now.
Yeah, we're just kind of spitfiring. Names are coming to us, or you folks are helping us out. But I'd have to sit down and really put a list together of guys, because I'm sure there might be a player or two that were. And again, these aren't players from Memphis. They're players that went to the University of Memphis, because obviously there's Memphians who have played also in the NBA. I mean, Thaddeus Young, 17-year career in the NBA. But
we had a caller just mentioned that Vincent Askew did win Sixth Man of the Year award. I think I remember that.
Vincent Askew had a good career.
Yeah, well, I think he won that when he was with Seattle.
Yeah. I mean, he was part of the Sonics. I'm just, like I said, he's been on our show before. I've had a chance to talk to him several occasions.
Just keep the man away from Vernon Maxwell. Vernon Maxwell CEO of money.
Oh, gosh.
There's nothing that I see that he won a Sixth Man of the Year. It's not on his basketball reference page or anything.
How many years did he end up playing? Vincent Askew. He had a pretty long career, did he not?
Yeah, he did. He and Elliott both are very similar. They played a long time, but they never averaged double-digit points.
Actually, he didn't win. GP won it when they were together, because that GP was the first guard to win it since, I think, Alvin Robinson, like a decade prior when he won it. In '96.
Sometimes our listeners are right. Sometimes our listeners are wrong. Right? It's just like going on the internet.
Askew's best year, he averaged 9.9 points.
Yeah, he was a role player. Was there anybody before the Larry Finch era? A couple of those old guys that are in the Tigers record books. Did they go on to play in the NBA at all? A couple of those guys.
I had to go deep dive on that one. Let me go check. You guys keep talking.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, something to think about. But yeah, good question from Tiger Steve. But Duran, I mean,
Vincent Askew had a great CBA career. He was a 2-time CBA most valuable player.
Okay, but that doesn't count. We're talking strictly NBA.
But yeah, it's
So right off the top of your head, where right now you'd put Duran, he's top 5.
To me, he's like you'd have Penny, Derrick Rose, and Tyreek Evans ahead of him, and then I think the comparison between him and Lorenzen would just be kind of which one do you look at, just the years that Lorenzen did it versus Duran certainly will end up ahead of him, barring some unfortunate injury that does completely limits him. But he's 22 years old, so he's got plenty of years. I mean, where he might end up on that list, who knows?
All right. When we come back, got some college football news to get into, and also from the NFL, some information, which is a positive story when it comes to the upcoming 2026 season. Also some news involving the SEC baseball tournament, which is right around the corner in Hoover, Alabama. Now, speaking of basketball, you can take your skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis, a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification, provides instant objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. It is no lie when I tell you Steph Curry has used the 360 method, Klay Thompson has used the 360 method, and other NBA players. I can't promise you you're going to become an NBA player, but I can promise you if you use the Shoot 360 method with their coaching, you're going to become a better player. Repetition really, really matters. It matters in a lot of sports. You're out there hitting golf balls over and over again. Muscle memory, you're doing it the right way, you're going to become a better player. Well, that's the same deal with shooting. And when you get into one of these Shoot 360 shooting bays with the technology, you're getting analytical information every time you put up a shot, and great coaching from coaches that have really been at every single level, from high school to college, even the NBA. And you can join on a monthly basis. You can't beat that. This makes for a great gift, for a birthday gift, a graduation gift. Get them a membership to Shoot 360 Memphis. 2 locations, 85 Market Street. That's the original in Collierville. You can call them at 901-316-5500. That is strictly the shooting bays. You get in there, don't have to worry about anything else. Just put your mind on getting into the bays and shooting. But in Cordova, Big Orange Road, they got everything there. Abilities to pass, and this is where the gamification comes in, especially for youngsters, to learn how to throw chest passes and bounce passes, and do so having fun because you're scoring, you're hitting it off a board, you're knocking targets down. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot more active than sitting on your bed or on your couch and playing with one of the video games. You can actually be out there active and do so. And again, 1 month. That's all you have to commit to at Shoot 360 Memphis. In Collierville, 85 Market Street, 901-316-5500. Give them a call today. Set up a tour. And in Cordova on Big Orange Road, 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here at Shoot 360 Memphis.
Another texter brought up Will Barton. Will Barton would be ahead of him right now.
Will Barton, really good career.
Really good.
Really good. Especially, I mean, he was out there in Denver, and you thought, oh, okay, man, all of a sudden, he went from backup guy, he was starting, he was scoring lots of points.
Twice he was fourth in the Sixth Man of the Year voting.
Will Barton is a great one.
He had a 6-7 year stretch where he was a consistent, 14, 15 point a night guy. Yeah, he would be ahead of Duran right now for sure.
What about now I'm thinking about it. What's his name? Carney. Carney had a long career in the NBA, did he not?
I wouldn't put him ahead of Will.
No, I wouldn't either. I'm just trying to think of another guy. I remember him playing with the Sixers at one point. A couple other.
Definitely solid, though.
Okay. All right, we'll take a break. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Here's something you don't see every day. It's a full-on brawl at Family Leisure. Oh, yeah. There's a battle of the brands happening right now through May the 10th with 7 different manufacturers all fighting it out for your business. Listen to this opening blow. Hot tubs starting at $34.99. Ouch! Then followed up with a mean right hook of swim spas starting at $16,999. That's a starting price. There are so many deals right now at Family Leisure, and the prices are just too low for me to even mention on the radio. One thing I can tell you, if you stop by Family Leisure and tell them you heard this on the radio, you're going to get a free cover lift with your spa purchase. But you better hurry in before all these great deals get knocked out. Technically, this is called the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo, but we're calling it the Battle of the Brands, happening now through May 10th at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
This Mother's Day, the perfect gift is from Gould's. Choose the Mom's Escape package, which includes a shampoo and blowout with style, signature facial, relaxation massage, and a free bubble or face serum while supplies last. Or buy Mom a $100 gift card and get $10 off. Offers good through May 10th at any Gould's location. Gould's is always the perfect gift for Mother's Day, with salon and spa services as well as the best hair and skincare products. Gould's Salon Spa, a legacy of style, care, and community since 1932. Happy Mother's Day from Gould's.
I keep seeing celebrities posts, me in the 90s versus now. Well, the person staring at me in the mirror is definitely not the same person that could pull off bootcut jeans. Time creeps up on us so slowly. You don't see it until suddenly you do. Same thing goes for your bills. $1 here, an uptick there. It's a slow burn until one day you realize the price you're paying now is way higher than when you signed up. But at T-Mobile, customers had the lowest wireless bills versus Verizon and AT&T over the past 5 years. And with T-Mobile on their experience plans, you get a 5-year price guarantee, so you know exactly what your plan price will be for the next 5 years. So at least that's one thing that won't change over time. I can't guarantee you'll still look good with frosted tips, but T-Mobile can give you a clear guarantee on your wireless plan.
Lower bills based on Harris X billing snapshots from Q3 21 to Q4 25 compared to average AT&T and Verizon bills. Comparison excludes discounts, credits, and optional charges. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
Listen up, Rebel fans. Your next winning drive starts at Landers Ford in Collierville. Their game plan is simple. Find you the most savings possible. Make a trade, lower your payments, or let them buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from them. That's how you keep moving the chains. Just like the Grove on game day. Fans all across the Mid-South keep coming back to the #1 Ford dealership in Greater Memphis. See them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. When you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot, so you're never left watching from the sidelines. To finish the drive, the iconic Landers Easy Pass always brings more for your trade and the biggest discounts to put you in victory formation. And now, straight from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that took down number 1 ranked Notre Dame, the final snap of the day from Landers Ford President Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Nobody knows the Memphis Tigers like AI does, so did a little search during the break, and these are all names that we brought up. Penny Hardaway, Derrick Rose, Larry Keenan. Then they bring up Jalen Duren, Lorenzen Wright, Elliott Perry. They bring up Keith Lee. Again, very disappointing NBA career, but the injuries, the knees really did the unfortunate trick for him. Chris Douglas Roberts said impactful wing. Joey Dorsey, journeyman big man. Rodney Carney, athletic forward. William Bedford, who you mentioned, 7-foot center. And then here's a guy just got a text about Precious Achiuwa. Precious Achiuwa still playing in the NBA. First-round pick in 2020. He's had a solid NBA career. Of course, AI brings up James Wiseman. Again, very, very disappointing career.
Yeah, Achiuwa's had a fine career. He's not ahead of Duren right now.
No,
he's only done it for like a year or two more than Duren, and Duren's been better than him every year he's been in the league.
Yeah, and the other names we brought up, like Vincent Askew, good, solid career. But, yeah, a lot of Tigers have played in the NBA. But as far as the most impactful, obviously, Derrick Rose is at the top with Penny Hardaway. And then you got some other guys like Tyreek Evans certainly is up there. Will Barton, not that far behind with Duren, Lorenzen Wright. And then you go, Elliott Perry and so on and so forth. Good stuff. Good topic, though. Just
by making the All-Star game this year, he puts himself at a very select group of former Tigers. There's many that have been All-Stars, and he'll probably be, I would think there's a good chance he's All-NBA.
I think, we can bank on that one.
So if he's All-NBA, again, I don't, Penny, Rose, and I assume Keenan made All-NBA as well.
But who again,
you're in a very select group then.
So Lorenzen never made an All-Star team. Will Barton never made an All-Star team. Ellie Perry never made an All-Star team. Tyreek Evans? No. Okay, so from what we know, of the only All-Stars that played at the University of Memphis / Memphis State that played in an NBA All-Star game, Penny Hardaway, Derrick Rose, Jalen Duren.
And Larry Keenan.
Yep. 4 guys, right?
Yep.
Okay. Somebody will text and go, you forgot about this guy. It's like, okay, well, we may have forgotten about him.
Well, I don't think Keenan was ever All-NBA. He was All-Star, but I don't think he was All-NBA. So
he was in the 70s. I doubt if he was, because it was probably just 1 or 2 All-NBA.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So he would, if he's All-NBA, then it would be him, Penny, and Derrick Rose would be the only ones in that category.
By the way, any more fallout from the UAB Memphis internet squabble? Did we have anything more yesterday?
Well, Andy Kennedy said it was about his tweet was about a different player.
It was?
He, what was it that he said?
I didn't see. I missed this.
Because all the Tiger people were coming at him, and he responded. Where is that tweet from him?
Well, while you're looking for that, UAB also landed another player, Elijah Duvall, who was the WAC Freshman of the Year, 6'3" guard out of Wilmington, Delaware. Good player with some good numbers. So UAB in the fight now with Memphis and some of the other teams who have added to their team. Others have lost a lot from their rosters from last year.
Hitman Hoops had posted the video of Dane Danger dunking on UAB.
Was he dunking
responding to Kennedy?
Was he dunking on Lendeborg?
And Kennedy said Dane Danger was a bad dude, But bro, Tiger fans out here chasing ghosts, blowing up my timeline thinking one thing when the message was on a completely different dude. Do love the passion, though.
See, AK loves this stuff. He'll interact. He's not afraid. And we're efforting to get AK on the show. By the way, Penny Hardaway will be on with Wolo today. I think at 9:25, 9:30. It could be 9:45. I'm not sure. He only does an hour, Wolo, but I think it's like 9:30.
10:30, you mean? Because we'll still.
Sorry, we'll be on the air. 10:30. Excuse me. But he'll have Penny Hardaway. I'm sure Wolo will ask him about that. Penny will probably take the high road, but I love it. If Penny got a little more involved with social media and kind of played around with AK on the social media thing, it'd be fun.
I'm telling you, all that we were missing from the Charles Huff press conference was somebody coming in like Clubber Lang at the Rocky unveiling of the statue. That's all we missed.
That's why Trevor DeLoach, like Trevor DeLoach, it looks like he's that guy in the staff that will. But nobody knows Trevor DeLoach. I mean, you got to have a little. I mean, they're going to learn who Trevor DeLoach is.
You bombard a press conference like that, they'll know real fast.
But again, like we talked about yesterday, if Jeff Traylor came in, because you got the other coaches that are gone now, right? Tulane lost their coach, North Texas lost their coach, South Florida lost their coach. These were guys that were interacting with Ryan Silverfield, who's gone now. But Charles Huff maybe stirring some things up, but apparently nobody reacting to that. But what are you going to say? I mean, he didn't come out there and say, we are absolutely going to win. He said that's our goal. I win wherever I've been. I expect to win here, and we're going for championships.
That man to the right, to the left of you, Eli, to the right of you, Greg. If they bring that man Paul Heyman to a press conference and all he has to say is a prediction, this is a spoiler, not a prediction. It sets everything up and everything goes up from there, from the entertainment side.
Again, this whole thing wasn't kicked off by any coach. This was a player a recruit making the comment that everybody decided to jump on, and then Kennedy post something and he says was about somebody else, which I think that's Andy's playing the little game. But it's like this was just a recruit making a comment about why he chose a school.
Well, but yeah, and then AK put out the little money bag emoji and then the 100% emoji. In other words, we're building the players to play at the next level. Memphis is buying the players. That was basically what he did and what he said in emoji world. And I would doubt very much.
He didn't just say it emojis. He said it with the words. He said buying versus developing.
Well, he did. He did. And then used the emojis, I guess.
He doubled down.
Even if you don't know emoji language, if you still know English, you understood exactly what he said.
Well, yeah, and he shouldn't back away from that, and I'm sure he won't. But as far as the kid himself, I would bet that whatever I bet you Memphis offered less than UAB. Not that they couldn't afford it. They've used a lot of the money. And maybe this guy wasn't high priority, although we know centers right now, they need to fill these last two voids with bigs. But maybe they looked at him like, we get him. We'll try to get him on the cheap. I don't think that kid is taking less money, especially when we're not talking about $5 million versus $4.5 million. We're talking about probably a couple of 100,000 versus maybe 100,000. You're telling me that you're not going to take that? Does he, truly believe with the track record of UAB that they're sitting there developing all these NBA players?
No, because we hadn't seen it.
I'm thinking Memphis. I think Memphis offered less. And again, it's not because they can't afford it. UAB doesn't have more money than Memphis, but Memphis has used that money. Look at who they've brought in. They've used a lot of that money, so I don't know what they have left in the coffers. Love to know what these guys have from a money standpoint. Again, we had Aki Collins on last week, University of Maryland assistant, former Memphis assistant, telling us how much it takes to be a competitive team, a top 20, 25 team, $14, $15, $16 million. UAB and Memphis nowhere near that as far as the basketball is concerned. One thing real quick before we take our break to Michael Cole on the other side. Got a lot of football we got to get into as well. But the SEC baseball tournament announcing they'll use the ABS challenge system that is being used now in Major League Baseball. They'll use it starting in this year's SEC tournament in Hoover, Alabama. Each team will get 3 challenges. What do you think, Eli, about bringing in the ABS challenge system to the SEC baseball tournament?
It's an interesting move because when you've played all year and haven't had it, it'll be interesting to see just how, like for those players, it's not in your head that you have ability to challenge a pitch. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they use them, how often they get used with players that just aren't used to using it.
Right. All right. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, DeMichael Cole opens up hour 2. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. In the wake of recent storms in the Mid-South, we saw severe damage, and our prayers go out to all those impacted. Believe it or not, much of this damage has still not been discovered. Most of us do not look up and take notice to displaced shingles, small water stains on our ceilings, and many of the silent ways water attacks our homes. This type of silent damage is unsightly, and if left for a period of time, become unhealthy to you and your family. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out, evaluate any concerns you may have, from climbing your roof and evaluating your shingles or TPO to opening a wall or ceiling for further inspection. We get paid to look up and climb. If you have an insurance claim that requires restoration or need a contractor that accepts all insurance carrier scopes, Metro Builders understands the way to restore a home or office either back to its pre-existing condition or upgrading that space. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717 or metrobuildersmemphis.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you. This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Cranking it pretty good right now. Sam Cooper pretty much on schedule right when you come off I-40, coming inbound on Sam Cooper as traffic increases even more up from the south on 55 up through DeSoto County right now as it pushes north on 55 here at Brooks and Elvis Presley. Wet driving conditions out here is going to send you out early. Hey, Mother's Day this weekend, you know where to go. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. Shop local and save a ton of money. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
52 degrees, only going to get up to 62 today. We're going to see more rain, considerable cloudiness, could be some heavy thunderstorms and more flash flooding, so watch out for that. Tonight, overcast skies, 52. Still may see a lingering shower before things clear out, and we're going to have a nice day tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday looks to be terrific. Temperatures climbing back up into the upper 70s to about 81 for a high on Saturday before more rain coming in on Sunday with some thunderstorms possible. And then we'll kick off the work week nice on Monday, sunny and 73 degrees. Hour 2 of the program on this Wednesday, May 6th, 2026. Greg Aston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham. We're broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, they got the hot tub and swim spa expo still going on for a few more days. It will wrap up on May 10th. So head on over to 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. That's where Family Leisure is. Hour 2 of the program brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Look, you want the credentials in your jeweler. James has all those credentials. Master jeweler, certified appraiser, diamondologist. He's graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. So if you're looking for that special engagement, diamond engagement ring or any other piece of jewelry, bring it on over and bring yourself on over to James Gaddis Jewelers. Talk to James. They will steer you in the right direction. They are full-service jewelers as well, so if you have an issue with any piece of jewelry, you need to get a refitting, you need a cleaning, whatever the case may be, they will do that. They'll take care of it. They got 2 bench jewelers ready to serve you. James Gaddis Jewelers open Monday through Friday 10 to 5, Saturday 10 to 4, closed on Sunday, located in the heart of East Memphis at 4900 Poplar Avenue, right between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. I was saying to Jay Ham during the break, and I'm sure we can look this up, but how many former Memphis Tigers have played at least one regular season game in the NBA? That's it, just
47.
You know that for sure? 47?
Basketball Reference has it at 47.
47. I would have thought it would even be more than that, more like 60, 70, but they got it at 4. I want to see that list. I'm sure it's probably accurate, but man, you never know who may slip through the cracks. 47 Tigers have played at least one game in the NBA. Time now to talk to DeMichael Cole.
2 watches, that's 12. Come through and slam on you. I'm in the air. Boys, I said and done.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
He is DeMichael Cole, covering all things Memphis Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal. He's the co-host of the Locked On Grizz podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. He's with us every single Wednesday. Good morning, DeMichael.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Doing great. How many former Tigers, I don't know if you'll know this, but how many former Memphis Tigers have played for the Grizzlies?
Oh, how many former Memphis Tigers have played for the Grizzlies?
So Tyreek Evans, Lorenzen Wright, Antonio Burks.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Carney.
Rodney Carney. God, I forgot. Rodney Carney played for the Grizzlies. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Did Cedric Henderson play with the Grizzlies?
I don't think he did.
I can tell you in a second.
That's at least 4.
No, he did not. Just Cleveland and Golden State.
Okay, that's 4 right there. Man.
Would you put
Derrick Rose?
Derrick Rose? Gosh, how can we forget Derrick Rose? We were just talking about, somebody had asked us about Jalen Duren, and of course, Jalen Duren has not played for the Memphis Grizzlies. Elliot Perry.
Yep,
we're up to 6. I mean, 6 former Tigers, at least, right? As we look up the list. But somebody had asked him, Michael, they texted in about where Jalen Duren kind of fits in now in the annals of history of Memphis Tiger players who have played in the NBA. God bless. Elliot Williams, too. 7. That's 7 guys right now. But who would you have? Obviously, Derrick Rose would be number 1 of the former Tigers who have played for the Grizzlies.
DJ Steffens?
DJ. Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if he got up with the Grizzlies that year or not, but he did.
Wallace used to go for the local guys, though. If he could get the local guys, and not just him, but that's 8 players right now. Would you go right now of Tyreek Evans and Lorenzen Wright's careers, guys that played for Memphis and played for the Grizzlies? Duren doesn't fall into that category. Who would you say? Whose career would you pick?
But you said Tyreek Evans, or who was the other?
Lorenzen Wright.
Man,
because you got to go. D. Rose, the former MVP, would be number 1 of the former Tigers who played for the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
I think it's Tyreek easily.
Easily?
He's a rookie of the year.
I know, he's a rookie of the year. Lorenzen played a long time and was...
Yeah, Lorenzen played a long time.
What were Lorenzen's numbers?
Lorenzen barely played longer than Tyreek, and Tyreek was just better.
Yeah, I'd probably go Tyreek.
Do you have Lorenzen's numbers right there? What he ended up averaging? He wasn't always a starter, and nor was Tyreek always a starter.
For Lorenzen's career, he averaged 8 points, 6 rebounds.
Okay, wow.
His best year was he averaged 12 and 9.5.
Wow, I thought he
had 3
averaged
years of averaging double digits.
Okay, yeah, it's Tyreek then, slam dunk. I thought Wren averaged a double-double for his career. I thought it was bad. I thought it was like 11 points, 10.4 rebounds, something like that. But still,
the end of his career probably brought him down a little bit. But
yeah.
But yeah.
No, I think you're right. All right, so are you by chance going to Chicago?
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Okay, so
are you trying to be in the room for the lottery?
I think so. We'll see.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Have you done that before?
No, I haven't done that before. Yeah.
Yeah, we had Michael Wallace on yesterday, and he was telling us all the things that happened inside the room, and some of the reaction from years past when he's been in the room. Look, this is fun. It's exciting. It's unfortunate that it was a season that they had and months of just bad basketball and tank-a-vision, if you will. But now we get to start to get to the exciting part, Michael, on Sunday with wherever they land in the draft lottery. What are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, just seeing how this process plays out. Where the Grizzlies land, where some of the other teams that I deemed competitive will land as well. Like, will the Pacers land in the top? I think it's the top 4, top 5, and keep their pick, or will they lose that pick and it'll convey to the Clippers in that case, and do the Clippers end up with a top 10 pick? What's going to happen with the Clippers after the Clippers lost? Their pick that conveys to OKC, is it going to stay, where it is, or is it going to jump to the top 4 and we're all going to complain? So, I want to see all those things, but specifically with the Grizzlies, of course, I think that first pick really just sets the tone for how they could play the draft. Anytime someone, we talked about what the Grizzlies are going to do at 16, what they're going to do at 32. It just really depends on what happens with that top pick, because if you're in the top 4, I feel like you have the ability to play it a little bit safer. At number 16, you can go with a guy who's probably played 3-4 years in college that you feel like is going to be, more mature and ready to play early on, but probably doesn't have the highest ceilings. But if you fall back to like 8, 9, you need to go with some upside guys. Because you really need to come out of this draft with some upside.
Yeah, I mean, again, obviously, the big thing is not to have the horrendous luck where they end up falling to like 9 or 10. Just avoid that terrible luck.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, 10 is with 0.2% chance of it happening. And,
like that would be the most unbelievable lottery. Like if 4 teams from behind them jump to the top 4, that's some crazy lottery stuff.
With their luck, would you be shocked? I wouldn't.
In this case, I mean, yeah, that would be, even with the Grizzlies' luck. I did I ran 100 simulations on the draft lottery, and I wrote a story about it on Monday. And even in the 100 simulations that I did, they didn't drop the 10 one time.
Well, what were the other results? I missed your story. I didn't see it. Sorry about that. Tell me about some of the results here.
Yeah, so the most common spots were 7, 8, as the projections have shown. I believe it was number 7 32 times. I believe it was 30 times for number 8. So they were at 7 or 8 62% of the time, which pretty much kind of checks out to what we expect.
Did we lose to Michael?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we're going in and out a little bit, but we got you now.
Okay, got you. Yeah. The spots in the top 4 were pretty, like, I think most of them had around 7 or 8. I believe number 1 was 7 times. But the thing is, I think all of those spots, and number 6, all of them were less than 10, but they were above 5. So decent chances to fall, to jump to 1, 2, 3, 4, and stay at 6. But I think 7 and 8 were very clear. Even 9 was only 3 times, I think. So falling to 9 feels unlikely, and even 10 is very, very unlikely.
Well, most people feel, and I don't know if you feel the same or you feel differently about the players that are available, that there's that upper echelon of 4 guys, and then there's that next group of the point guards, where if Memphis picks 7, 8, they would be in that range. But if it's 8, and let's say it goes according to plans and nobody else jumps up, and it's those point guards that we're talking about, and let's say Flemings and Acuff, and who am I missing from Illinois?
Wagler.
And Wagler go. Are you enamored at 8 to take Brown, or would you go in a different direction? And do you think basically that it's going to go kind of that way with those first 4, we know those 4, and then those point guards?
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, I'm so big on upside in this draft, guys, because I feel like the Grizzlies are uniquely positioned to take that type of swing. I don't know how if the Grizzlies come out of this draft, and with all due respect to like some of the older players, but if you have the number 8 or number 9 pick and you go Yaxel Lindenberg, who Yaxel's a solid player. Don't get me wrong. He's probably going to come in. He's probably going to be a starting caliber player. But it's hard to see Yaxel being that star. He's already, like 23 years old. So, I'm thinking you got to go with these younger guys who have, the potential. When we talk about when they're 23, their games are going to be much different than what they are now. And the thing about Michael Brown Jr. is, he had the back injury and whatnot. You're already starting to hear that the back is healthy. You hope there's no long-term things there, but people are already starting to say the back, is better. But this is a guy, 5-star recruit, coming up on the scene. He went head-to-head with a lot of these dudes and stood his ground. And he was having that type of season early on at Louisville before the injuries, started to take the toll and whatnot. But yeah, I think he's a high upside guy. The reason he's a little bit lower than some of those other players because it is a bit riskier with him, right? But I'm okay with taking the risk because you got to ask yourself, okay, what if this doesn't work out? Well, if it doesn't work out, it just means you have to be even more aggressive going into next summer, which the Grizzlies have the ability to do because they control all their picks. They'll have a boatload of cap space. If you move off of Ja, Brandon Clark's contract comes off the books after next season. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's contract comes off the book next season. You have a boatload of cap space to say, hey, we want to go trade for this guy. We want to get this guy in free agency. In addition to, again, if your first pick is bad, you're probably not going to have that great of a season. So you're probably going to have another decent draft pick. They're uniquely positioned to just go swing for it. And Markel Brown, when you get to the 8-9 range, you got some players who are probably safer projections. Brayton Burry, Jackson Lindenberg, like those guys to me project as solid complementary players. But what you need is what I call a 1-8 type of guy.
Yeah, I agree.
I love Brown. Brown's one of the bigger. I would have no problem if you picked Brown ahead of some of the other guys. I think if he's healthy, and I saw somebody post some video yesterday of him working out, and he looked out like. I think when Brown was healthy, I thought he was the best of the 4 of those point guards. So I have no problem with Michael Brown. If you end up with him, I think that would be fantastic. There, you wrote about possibilities at number 16. In some different ways. Again, and one of the things you talk about is we know Zach Kleiman likes to target somebody and possibly move up, and maybe he does that with that 16th pick if there's somebody that doesn't look like to get to him. And one of the names you bring up, Nate Ament to me is another one. You talk about upside. I look at that dude, man, when he puts on some weight and gets stronger, I think that dude could be really, really good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when it comes to Nate Ament, you guys know, I watched a bunch of this dude. So, being a Tennessee guy. But the thing about Nate Ament is, like, exactly that. Like, I feel like he's one of the – I think a lot of times we hear people say, if this guy comes back for a second year, they'd improve their draft stock or whatever in their lottery picks already. And a lot of times I just don't buy into that because it's like, what if they have a bad season? But in the case of Nate, it's like he just has to get stronger. Like when you watch him play, and Rick Barnes used to talk about this a lot. When you watch him play, a lot of it is him being knocked off of his spot. Like you look at the inefficiency issues because he took some shots. that were tougher than they should be, for a 6'10" guy. But he's 200 pounds, pretty much. But I feel like he has soft touch. He has, the capability to knock down some mid-range shots. He was inefficient around the rim. I think, at 6'10", you put on some weight, he'll be able to do that. We know the capability is there from beyond the arc as well. Like the defensive upside, I mean, that was why he was probably, in some regards, ranked as one of the top, prospects, because he's a 6'10" guy who can guard on the perimeter, and if he puts on the weight, he's going to be able to hold his own against fours, and who knows, maybe even fives, someday. So, he is definitely an upside play. If you draft Nate Ahmed, I'm saying, hey, look, don't you go into year one, expecting this guy to jump into the starting lineup. You're going to set yourself up for a disappointment. But he just screams that guy. Year two takes a little bit of a jump. Year three is probably the breakout year. But there is risk there. But he definitely has the talent.
Okay, let's say they get lucky and they move up, but they move up into a position where it's not the number one overall, where they have the ultimate choice. And let's say they're number 3, okay, just to throw out a number. But Peterson's already taken. Like, if that was their guy, like Peterson's taken because he could play point and he could play 2. And you end up going with Boozer or DeBonsa. You get a great player. But you still have the whole point guard question, because it does appear Ja will get moved. And you still have the big question because of the uncertainty of Edey and his status. You have the 16th pick. You have the 32nd pick. Where do you think, what direction would they go in? Obviously, they'd be jubilant if they were able to get one of those guys at the top. But if it's not Peterson, you would assume it's going to be DeBonsa, Boozer, Wilson.
Yeah.
Where would they go from there?
Oh, man. For me, it's a tough one, because here's the simple answer. The simple answer for me is I've said that it doesn't matter what you have on this roster when it comes to that first pick. You just draft the best player available. You figure out the rest later, because, again, when you're rebuilding, you're looking for faces. You're looking for, the pieces that you can identify and say, this is going to be the player that leads us until you're not in a position to where you're trying to fit pieces, because what are you fitting pieces around? You don't have, it's not like when you had Ja, Jaren, and Dez, and it was like, oh, let's, get another wing to put with them or this or that. Like, you need a star. And quite frankly, the way things are shaping up right now, like Cedric Coward's going to be a piece that probably fits around that player, or Zach Edey's probably going to be a piece to fit around that player. But so I think you say, which guy do we identify with the most upside here? Like, let's give some options. If you were keeping Ja, and you say, oh man, we got Ja, we got Cedric Coward, we got Zach Edey, I think Cam Boozer makes a whole lot of sense, because you just plug and play him at the power forward spot. Even if he doesn't have 1A type of upside, you're putting him alongside of Zach Edey, and you're putting together, a very bruising, physically imposing front court. But with Caleb Wilson, like, do I think Caleb Wilson will ever be a 1A? No, I don't. But between the two, if you're asking me, okay, who has the more potential to be that guy? I probably would say Caleb, with his physical tools, in addition to, him being a real skilled player as well. So that brings him more into the equation as an option. So I think it's who the Grizzlies will have higher on their board. I have a feeling it'll be Cam Boozer. When we talk about the Grizzlies board, the things that they like, from draft picks, Cam Boozer just has a lot of that. So I would say Boozer would be the pick. But yeah, I think you throw everything out of the window and say we're going to have our board. It's going to be, have the board lists the guys in order of best to, least preferred. Whoever is available at the top, you just draft him. You don't care if he's a point guard. You don't care if he's a shooting guard. You don't care if he's a center. You figure that out later.
If in that situation, if you got one of those guys there, then I would be hoping like that LeBaron Philon falls to 16.
Yeah, or you trade up.
Or you could trade up to try and
the
get.
Grizzlies were 16 last year, and they jumped to 11.
Yeah.
So I think in that story that I wrote a couple days ago about the the picks. I believe in Kleiman's time here, the Grizzlies haven't stood pat in the middle of the first none of their non-lottery
it's pretty much always he moves up to get that guy.
Yeah, moves up or moves down. Like they have not stood pat with any of their, whether it was the picks in the 20s when they traded up for Jake LaRavia. They traded the one pick to get they traded DeAnthony Melton in the pick, and they ended up getting like David Roddy and things like this. So they've always moved around the board. They traded out of the first round that 1 year and got Marcus Smart. So when they're in the
traded
middle
up for number
round,
30 to get Santi. They traded for Brandon Clark. It's like every time they target that guy, they make sure they go get him.
You're right. You're right on it. So them staying at 16, it's a possibility, but if you go by history, it's not going to happen. So and in that case, if they go with that type of guy, he makes a lot of sense. There are a couple, other guards that I like, maybe not point guards, but like Cam Carr. I just feel like he has to fill out, man. He really has to fill out. But again, another 6'5" guy, you put him alongside of, Cedric Howard long term. You got 2 7-foot wingspan, defenders. That's another guy that averaged over a block per game, 1.3 blocks per game in college, as a guard. We see Cedric Howard, has the ability to be, a weak side rim protector as well. Like you really would be an annoying defense.
I like Christian Anderson as well from Texas Tech.
Yep.
And I'm looking at, I pulled up a mock as you were talking, and just one mock, it happens to be CBS Sports, and they have the Grizzlies getting the 6th pick, moving up and getting Flemings, and then they have them taking Quaintance. Now, I do have a problem with guys that were hurt. Now, granted, Edie wasn't hurt, and now he got hurt when he went to the NBA. But I do have a problem with guys that were injured and taking those guys. I'd rather take healthy guys. That's just me. But obviously he didn't play this past year, so I don't know. I mean, with Quaintance, if you were in that position, would you take a guy like that from Kentucky who didn't play?
I wouldn't be scared to take Quaintance. And here's my thing. Unless these guys have some type of chronic injury issues, I don't care, honestly, because they're super young. You heal from it, and you just I guess you just trust the process. But with Quaintance, you go to his first year at Arizona State, the upside was tremendous.
Sure,
he was one of the best, rebounders and rim protectors, and he was playing at 17 years old. That's the reason. If he could have went to the NBA after that year, he probably would have done it. But he went to Kentucky, and as you said, didn't really play. I think he played 4 games, at Kentucky. Didn't really get a lot of time. The injuries, kind of took the toll. But he is definitely, an upside guy where and I think, the hope there, if you draft a guy like Quaintance and you're the Grizzlies, you're basically trying to fortify the center spot from the standpoint of, for 48 minutes, we'll have Edie or Quaintance in the game, giving us a good rim protector, a good rebounder at all times. And that has not been the case, for the Grizzlies over the years. When you took Jonas out of the game, when you took, Steven Adams out of the game, or you took Zach Edey out of the game, the rebounding would go down a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're hoping that with this type of move, you can fix that. But yeah, I'm okay with it, Greg. Greg, by that theory, you would have missed out on Cedric Howard. So
right, right.
I'm okay with it.
Well, projections are fun, and even though next week it'll still be projecting, we'll have a better understanding of where things stand for the Grizzlies. Of course, expect the unexpected with the Grizz, but we'll find out this Sunday about the draft lottery, where the Grizzlies will be picking in the lottery. DeMichael's going to be covering it for you at the commercial appeal for the draft lottery. Are you staying for the Combine as well in Chicago?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for a few days.
All right, great. So we'll figure out, make sure that you're okay to be on with us, because I can't wait to talk next week after we find out what's going on Sunday. DeMichael's got you covered at the CA. Follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. He's the co-host of the Locked On Grizz podcast, and he's with us each and every Wednesday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Safe travels, DeMichael. Enjoy yourself.
All right, take care, guys.
You too. I can't wait. I was just looking at that mock. I was looking at some of the players that are at the end of the first round, and I'm like, I'd take that guy. End of the first round. And then you're going to find guys in the second round that are going to be really good as well. Just cannot wait. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we got some football to get into, plus more of your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. What do you think about the NBA draft? Although we don't know where the Grizzlies will pick in the lottery, who are you looking at? Who do you like the Grizzlies to get? This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at codesdispensary.com. That's codesdispensary.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Saharovich, a proud partner with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've been fighting for Memphis families after serious accidents when insurance companies are trying to pay as little as possible. We don't back down. NST is the way to go.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
This Mother's Day, the perfect gift is from Gould's. Choose the Mom's Escape package, which includes a shampoo and blowout with style, signature facial, relaxation massage, and a free Babor face serum while supplies last. Or buy Mom a $100 gift card and get $10 off. Offers good through May 10th at any Gould's location. Gould's is always the perfect gift for Mother's Day, with salon and spa services, as well as the best hair and skincare products. Gould Salon Spa, a legacy of style, care, and community since 1932. Happy Mother's Day from Gould's.
This traffic report brought to you by Lauren Tag Hill of Ware Jones Realty. If you're buying a house or selling one and want fast action, contact Lauren Hill at warejones.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. I'm looking at an accident here in South Memphis, 55 northbound. There at Rains and Shelby. It's interrupting that traffic flow that's coming up from South Haven right now here in South Memphis, 55 northbound. They're up against a wall there near Rains. Extra time out here this morning. It's been wild and still heavy inbound on 385 Billmore Parkway, getting on that ramp there on the 240. Hey, Mother's Day is this weekend. Hurry over today to Weimer's Jewelry. Shop local and save a ton of money at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on tight traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Raider Corey texts in. He says they say that the best ability is availability. The Grizzlies do not have any luck when it comes to this. There's no way in heck the Grizzlies should draft anyone in the first round with injury concerns out the gate. We just need some healthy bodies to play on a consistent basis so they can be properly evaluated for future plans or goals. But again, if they did that, they wouldn't have drafted Cedric Coward last year. And he seems to work out pretty well. So
he's worked out well. Sure, there are exceptions to every rule, but
And Zach Edey was healthy in his college career, and
I know.
Now he has the injury. I don't like if it is as he said, like if it's a debilitating thing that's been a chronic problem throughout their basketball career.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's some injury they had in college, and your doctors look at it, and that person looks healthy, I don't think you could be drafting scared.
Well, every agent is going to make sure that they have a doctor on the payroll that says the dude's good. He's fine. Go ahead and draft him. But a guy misses an entire season, basically, that's a red flag for me. But you're right. There are exceptions to the rules. Edey wasn't hurt in college. He's been hurt in the NBA. Quayton's hurt in college. Who knows? And then Coward, yes. Injuries. You would think that maybe he'd have some issues. And after 1 year in the NBA, he certainly did not. He was great. So, yeah. But I would still go with an overall blanketed opinion of looking more at the guys that are healthy, that played and didn't get hurt. That's just my opinion. All right. College football. The American Football Coaches Association, the AFCA, is recommending elimination of conference title games as part of a proposal to compress the season, conclude it by the second Monday in January, while also expanding the playoff field to even 24. They basically said, maximizing the postseason playoff teams. So the AFCA doesn't have power in of itself, but these are the coaches. The coaches make up the Coaches Association, right? That makes sense. We've had other people, even commissioners, not commissioners, but we've had other people, even schools, general ADs that have come out and said they would like to see that. But the commissioners, but especially Greg Sankey, has been reluctant on getting rid of the championship games. And I wonder where the networks stand as far as that is concerned because of the programming, although they would gain more programming with an expanded playoff. We talk about these topics all the time. It always seems to come down to what does Sankey and Petiti want when it comes to expanded playoffs and now probably whether or not to keep the championship game. But for me, again, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care if there's no championship games. You get the season done by the second Monday in January and have an expanded playoff. I don't want 24, but if it goes to 24, so be it. But I like 16. That's the number I like. But 24, I'm not going to cry over it. And you're done the second week in January? Why wouldn't you sign up for that?
Yeah, I like a lot of the stuff they say. I like the idea of, which has already been proposed, of moving the start of the season up to week 0, having that be the first full week of the season. It's funny, because I thought it was the coaches, but I thought it was the coaches who fought to get 2 bye weeks, and now they're like, no, we go to 1 bye week instead of 2. I don't know. I can't remember who. I was thinking it was the coaches who originally fought to get 2 bye weeks, but I might be wrong as far as that is, because it was funny that they're like, no, we want 1 bye week now. But yeah, I mean, it ideally, the problem with it is the bowl games, the big bowl games, who are going to be used for the playoffs and everything, and the networks and everything, they're going to want the quarterfinal games of the playoff to be at New Year's. They want that's because that's the bowls, like that's the bowl tradition for both. So they're going to want that to be at New Year's. So it's then
the semis
the
week
play
after.
The semis 1 week later, and then the championship game 1 week later. All that stuff
that works.
If that is that's fine. But I mean I don't think there's any way you're getting the quarterfinals moved off of New Year's. So everything needs to basically work. And again, even if you're doing 24 teams, you got to figure out how to get down. I would assume the whole thing is, how do we get down to the quarterfinals by New Year's? Like, so you have to adjust everything based on, I think that from the bowl perspective, the network perspective is like, the quarterfinals are going to be New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. how do we work everything else around making that happen?
Well, during these discussions, I can't imagine it's just thrown out there willy-nilly. They said, we want to be done by the second Monday in January. We want to expand. Even 24 is fine, and not think about how that works from a calendar standpoint. So I don't know. I haven't really seen anything on paper as far as what we're talking about here. I'd have to take a look at that and digest it. But obviously, to me, if they're thinking about ending the second Monday in January, then that would work into what you're saying. The quarterfinals would be at New Year's, which makes sense with the bowls. I think that's perfect to have that. To have the season end the second Monday in January would be great as well. When they have to start the postseason, I don't know. You still have the whole Army-Navy situation, which isn't obviously going to move here because of you even got the president getting involved in that. So the calendar would have to be congested. It would have to be, as you said, one bye as opposed to two byes. The coaches, I think, are looking at it going, okay, wait. If we have an expanded playoff, more teams get in, we get our teams in, it looks great for us and for the school. More money for the school, more money for the league, more money for me, more longevity with my career at that venue or with that particular organization. And with the championship game, great. We don't have a clear-cut conference championship winner in a game. Now, we will have possibly a regular season champion or co-champions, because if there's a tie, you're not breaking the tie if you're not having a championship game, and I guess they're fine with that as well. So there are a lot of people that are stalwarts, and they don't want anything changed. They're historically, we've always had a championship game. We don't want a championship game. Well, maybe they haven't always had it, but they've had it for a long time, and we don't want that to go away.
But the thing, in keeping the quarterfinals at New Year's, for the way the calendar works, the next 2 years, just saying, looking at the next 2 years, the best you could do is end it a week earlier than what it's going to end anyway. That month, it would either be that you would end it on the 17th or 18th. The games are scheduled for the 24th and the 25th of the next 2 years, the championship game. You're gaining 1 week. I don't know if that's that big of important, but to gain any more than that, you're not going to be able to play the quarterfinals. If you're going to keep the championship game on a Monday night, you're not be able to play the quarterfinals on New Year's. And again, I would guess from the network perspective and bowl games, everything else, that is a 100% deal that they want those on New Year's.
Well, and again, this particular thing, as far as losing the conference championship games, this has really come down to the commissioners. Because again, the players, not the players, but the coaches, the AFCA, they have spoken. We've heard other people, including AD, say it's fine. We can do away with the conference championship. But from a programming standpoint, big game like that, I'm sure the networks want it. They want to keep it. And Sankey looks like he wants to hang on to it till his dying breath. And he's not alone. I don't know if we've heard from all the commissioners, but I would imagine that Petitti's in that same boat, that they want the conference championship game. But sometimes you got to give up something to gain something. And the negotiations are going to be real interesting coming up for next year's, not this upcoming season, but the season after that and the playoff. Getting off of the 12, because we know they all want to basically expand. It's just that we have two different factions, two different camps, one wanting 16, one wanting 24, one wanting to do certain things, the other one. I mean, that's the problem. The problem lies in two guys that are battling each other.
The other thing about what they said, they want the Army-Navy game still played on the same day, but allow postseason games to be played that day, but have them basically be a standalone, whatever time slot, but postseason games can be played that day. Well, last I checked, Army-Navy still have the possibility of being in the postseason. Right. They're going to play a doubleheader that day. You got to go play your game, but then you also got a postseason game that you got a first round playoff game later that night. You got to get ready for. Like, you can't, they can't be on that day if the postseason starts on that day.
Well, I know that's a problem, but and look, I love the pomp and circumstance, the pageantry and all that, but they can't hold up everything, Army, Navy. Just like, I complained about Notre Dame holding up. I mean, Army and Navy, it's great, but I don't know what would happen if Army or Navy was the group of 6 representative. And who knows if we go to 24 teams eventually, if there will be 2. I doubt it, but there could be 2 from the group of 6. And if Army or Navy was one of them, or both, I'd worry about that down the road. Right now, look, they want to stand alone. They probably want the whole entire day. Well, screw it. You're not getting the entire day. If they want to have the playoffs on that day, then you have the playoffs on that day. And you go around it. And if one year Army or Navy gets in, and you got to figure something out. I don't know. But they want their cake and eat it too. And then the president got involved with that. Isn't that also Heisman Day? Is that the same day as Army Navy?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Heisman Award, I don't know when you throw that in there. Maybe move it from a Saturday night. I don't know. You can move around things. Of course, starting the season week 0, which really becomes week 1, in late August is fine as well, which seems to be the trend anyway. We got more and more games on. Memphis is playing week 0 at UNLV. So I don't think that would be too much of an issue.
A couple people texted and said, why don't you move the Army-Navy game to the beginning of the year? Again, I like move it wherever. But the idea of throwing out the idea of we're going to keep it on the same day but also have playoff games that day, well, that just doesn't make sense. That is a dumb suggestion because it doesn't make sense.
Well, it only doesn't make sense if Army or Navy gets into the playoff. You're right.
Okay, but they're not going to cancel that game. And you don't know they're in the playoff until the week before. So you can't have that as the schedule and then get caught with it because you're like, oh, what do we do? Because they definitely don't want to cancel the game.
No. You know what? It's a damn exhibition game, basically. It has nothing to do with the conference. It's not a win or loss in the American Conference. It's ridiculous. It's basically a game for them. It's cool to watch. It's an exhibition. You know what? If one of them makes it to the playoffs, they play that first round game. They get knocked out, I guarantee you. And then the next week, you move the Army-Navy game to the next week. The 1 year it happens, which will be a rarity, move it. Move it to the following week. They don't care. They'll play it wherever, whenever. They'll play it on a battleship if they can.
But that's the whole point. If they'll play it wherever, whenever, just move it up in the season and you don't have to worry about it.
Yes, I would do that too, but they don't want to do that.
But I'm saying the coaches referencing this is dumb because it doesn't make sense that way.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, speaking of, some would say it's dumb, some comments that Kirby Smart made about the SEC versus the Big Ten. We got that coming up. We'll be talking Tiger football and basketball and a little bit of Grizzlies with Landon Speck. He'll join us at 9:05. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Memphis, repping the Grizzlies, holler and go Tigers. Make sure your home or business looks like a winner too. Call Hall Power Washing Solutions. They handle power washing for driveways, sidewalks, and more, as well as soft wash, roof cleaning, gutters, and window cleaning. They're fully insured and bring the hot water for the toughest grime. Go to hallpowerwashingsolutions.com or call 901-258-1399 for more information and a free estimate. Hall Power Washing Solutions, turning Memphis grime into shine.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
I have solved one of life's great puzzles.
That seems really unlikely.
I have.
Okay, what puzzle?
What to give people as wedding presents when they're out of town.
It's not that big of a puzzle.
Oh, yeah? What would you do?
I would ship them some yummy Central Barbecue. So what were you going to say?
Ship them some yummy Central Barbecue? Because they have great packages.
Yeah, like the ribs pack, the pulled pork pack, even the combo pack.
This is all stuff that I was going to say.
I know. You're always going to go to the Central Barbecue well.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, 8:50 the time. I was reading a story earlier today. I didn't get to the complete story, but little bits and pieces of a Blake Topmeyer story from USA Today, and I guess they talked to Kirby Smart, or they got the sound bites from something else where Kirby was speaking about the SEC, and he said that some of the SEC coaches, and I assume he includes himself, but he's speaking for some SEC coaches. He says they blame the Big Ten's 3-year championship run on the SEC's lower tier teams being surprisingly strong. But he argues the real factor is the Big Ten's deeper pool of top-level teams and more even talent distribution caused by NIL money. So I guess he says one thing, and then some other SEC coaches believe it's because the SEC from top to bottom is stronger than the Big Ten. Smart reported that several SEC coaches believe the Big Ten's recent dominance is due to the SEC's worst teams being too good. Okay, I think top to bottom, that's true, but I don't think that's the reason. I think that, basically, I guess what they're saying is it's a battle every single week for the SEC, whereas with the Big Ten, they get a reprieve in certain games in the Big Ten. And so they're fresher and better and ready to go, and they make the run in the playoffs and they win the championships. I don't know if I particularly buy that. I do agree, though, that top to bottom, the SEC's better. But as I've talked about the last few years, I use this phrase all the time: top heavy. Top heavy. They are a top heavy conference. They got 4 or 5 absolute behemoths at the top, and now, of course, Indiana is part of it now, where they once were one of those bottom cellar dwellers. The SEC obviously has some really, really good teams at the top, and they have good teams throughout. But do you buy that? What the SEC coaches are selling you here?
No. I mean,
is it sour grapes?
I saw a pretty bad Arkansas team last year. I saw a pretty bad Mississippi State team. I mean, I don't know what. Each conference has bad teams at the bottom.
That's what Topmeyer said. He said, I saw Arkansas lose to Memphis. Use them as an example. And then they went out and got killed by 40-something points by Notre Dame. Which, again, Notre Dame's a great team, but it wasn't even competitive. But, sure, you went through that list yesterday of power conference schools versus ranked teams. And Rutgers, horrible. Maryland, horrible. A lot of them, even Purdue, horrible. Do you recall any of the SEC teams being down there? At the bottom? I don't think there were, was there?
Well, Arkansas has the most losses of anybody on that list.
But they have wins.
Yeah.
Over top 25 teams. Who was it? Rutgers has got a donut. They haven't won. Maryland's got 4. So I think it's a good.
Arkansas is 13-53.
Okay, but they got 13 wins over ranked teams.
8-40.
And that's Vanderbilt. But they got 8. And
Mizzou's 9-32.
Okay. But we're the Big Ten teams. Rutgers is 0 for whatever. Where's Maryland? 4 and whatever.
4-38.
Who else from the Big Ten?
Nebraska was 2-34.
Yeah. So there's 3 already that are below any of the SEC schools, including Vanderbilt.
Purdue is 7-34. South Carolina's 11-44 for the SEC. Illinois 7-28 for the Big Ten.
Yeah, and things go in cycles. I mean, Illinois is certainly playing better under Bielema. Vanderbilt, the run they had with Pavia at the quarterback.
Well, on this list, Indiana's one of the worst Big Ten teams. So
right, but we know now where things stand right now, and it should only be really where the things are the last 3 years, when the Big Ten's won these 3 straight national championships. The bottom of the Big Ten, Rutgers, Maryland, some of those schools, compared to the bottom of the SEC, Mississippi State, Arkansas. I think I still stick with the SEC is better top to bottom, but it's not that much better where it makes a difference and you can use that as an excuse of why they haven't won championships. And the top of the Big Ten has been better than the top of the SEC, and that's why they've won championships. So I think while there's some truth to what is being said, because I do believe top to bottom SEC, it's just a bad argument when it comes to championships. The better teams have been the Big Ten. And I don't think they're getting so much rest in the games that they're playing against bad teams. And the SEC, every game is a dogfight. Every game isn't a dogfight. But you got to give credit to the Big Ten. And I think some of those coaches are not doing so. And we'll see what happens. And especially the fact that it's been different winners in Indiana, Ohio State, and Michigan. All right, before we take our break, you looked this up on, was it NBA Reference, Basketball Reference? 47 players. Okay, we already mentioned this on air. 47 players that played at the University of Memphis or Memphis State have played at least one game in the NBA. Ready? Strap in. Here we go. Precious Achiuwa, Antonio Anderson, Vincent Askew, Earl Barron, Will Barton, Amani Bates, Damian Ball, William Bedford, Tarek Black, Antonio Burks, Mike Butler, Rodney Carney, Moussa Cisse, Joey Dorsey, Chris Douglas Roberts, Jalen Duren, Tyreek Evans, Larry Finch, Chris Gardner, Sylvester Gray, Penny Hardaway, Cedric Henderson, Rich Jones from back in the late 60s, David Jones Garcia, Larry Keenan, Keith Lee, Jeremiah Martin, Hank McDowell, Josh Minot, Todd Munt, Elliot Perry, Lester Quinones, Ronnie Robinson, Derrick Rose, DJ Steffens, Adonis Thomas, Naquan Tomlin, Andre Turner, David Vaughn, DeJuan Wagner, Darius Washington, Win Wilfong, Elliot Williams, Sean Williams, James Wiseman, Lorenzen Wright, and Wayne Yates. All played at least one game, one regular season game in the NBA. Antonio Anderson played exactly one game in the regular season in the NBA with Charlotte. DJ Steffens played 4. Adonis Thomas has played 6. Darius Washington, 18, so on and so forth. Wayne Yates, 37. You can look that up in Basketball Reference. Hour 3 on the way. Landon Speck joins us here to open up Hour 3 as it's starting to thunder pretty seriously outside the Flynn Broadcasting compound. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening is coming to the Graceland Soundstage. Saturday, May 9th at 8 p.m. Jason's thunderous drumming recalls one of the greatest to ever sit behind the skins is late father John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. This is as close as you will ever get to letting the lead out live. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Get your tickets today at GracelandLive.com.
Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving two purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. In the wake of recent storms in the Mid-South, we saw severe damage, and our prayers go out to all those impacted. Believe it or not, much of this damage has still not been discovered. Most of us do not look up and take notice to displaced shingles, small water stains on our ceilings, and many of the silent ways water attacks our homes. This type of silent damage is unsightly, and if left for a period of time, become unhealthy to you and your family. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out, evaluate any concerns you may have, from climbing your roof and evaluating your shingles or TPO to opening a wall or ceiling for further inspection. We get paid to look up and climb. If you have an insurance claim that requires restoration or need a contractor that accepts all insurance carrier scopes, Metro Builders understands the way to restore a home or office either back to its pre-existing condition or upgrading that space. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717 or MetroBuildersMemphis.com.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still slow in South Memphis right now as they finish up this accident. It was up against the wall, 55 northbound near Rains and Shelby. It's already heavy with all that traffic trying to get up through there right now. Coming out from the south, that's northbound, 55 at Rains, trying to clear up this accident. It's been a busy one out here this morning. If you're just leaving, just to be on the safe side, give yourself a little extra travel time. Hey, Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. You know where to shop. Weimer's Jewelry. Stop by. See David today at 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with John Harden, weekdays from 11 to 1.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning!
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:01 the time, hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, May 6th, 2026 edition. Happy Hump Day to you. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham with you, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. The Family Leisure Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo is going on right now through May 10th, so you still have time to head over to 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. 4 more days where you can get some great deals as the Battle of the Brands is taking place. Right now, weather-wise, it's storming out there, 52 degrees. I'm just looking outside the window here at the Flynn Broadcasting Studios, the Family Leisure Studio, and it is coming down cats and dogs, thundering, lightning, all kinds of bad stuff. Bad intentions, Mother Nature, this morning, so be careful when you're driving around. Considerable cloudiness, more showers tonight in the forecast, possibly even another thunderstorm before it clears out, and then tomorrow and Friday is going to be delightful. You won't even remember the rain. Saturday looks to be terrific, 81 degrees by Saturday, but then Sunday, more thunderstorms in the forecast. We got a lot to get to in hour number 3. We start off with a First-time guest, young man who is covering Memphis Tigers sports, both football and basketball for On3 Sports, and also now covering the Grizzlies for Sports Illustrated. We welcome Landon Speck to the show. You can follow Landon on Twitter at LandonSpeck2. Hey, Landon, how are you?
I'm well. How are y'all doing? Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, doing well, and you're wearing a few hats now, doing some different things. As I mentioned, now doing some Grizzlies coverage. We'll get to that a little bit later on, get your thoughts on the draft and things of that nature. But with the Tigers, let's start with football. Obviously, spring football is done. Now the long wait until they open up camp in August and get ready for the first season under Charles Huff. You've been out of practices. You've been to the press conferences. Mm-hmm. What impresses you the most from what you've heard from Coach Charles Huff?
So I think through the spring, he was very, I don't want to say too transparent about what the team and what they looked like, but mixing his words and from what I saw at practice, I think for a team that brought in nearly 80 new guys, it looks to me like they're meshing really well. Now, granted, when we got to practice, we're not getting to watch the full team 11-on-11 period. It's a lot of walkthrough. It's a lot of drills against the air, but it's all very smooth. And I really like that, especially, you're bringing in 2 coordinators. You're putting in 2 brand new schemes these guys are having to learn. But it just seems to me like the whole transition between the staff and the players and everything meshing when everyone is coming from different schools, the staff and the players, all of that looked really well. And I think that overall, this is a talented team. This is a team that, let's be honest, Memphis, compared to the rest of the American Conference, has the top NIL budget. So it's one of those deals where, yeah, they brought in almost 80 new guys, but it's not like they brought in 80 guys that can't play football. It's going to be one of the more talented rosters in the league. And especially in spring ball with that new roster, you just want to see that mental aspect of the game, the speed of the game. You want all that being taken care of to where when you get to fall, you don't have guys out there worrying about which route to run. You just want them to be able to go out there and play as fast as they can. And I think they did a good job of taking care of that during spring ball.
What would you consider the strength of the team, maybe the best position group?
This might sound cliche, but I do think the quarterbacks are a strength. I think whether it's Stokes or Air Noland that ends up winning the job, I think in the event that whoever that is gets banged up or whatever the case may be, I do think they have some very solid depth behind them. And then on offense, I also think the receivers are a strength. And I do want to say it's going to look different compared to what Tiger fans are used to. Because when you think in the past, they've had some guys, like maybe a DeMonte Coates or an Anthony Miller, I know, who wasn't very big, but they've had some guys who were, or even this past year with Cortez, they've had some guys who were bigger, some jump ball guys, some possession catch type of guys. But I think this group is different in that it's a lot of speed, and they're smaller too. And that first time going out to practice, it caught my eye. I was like, whoa, there's not a whole lot of size here. I think Brady Cluse is right around 6'2", right. And then same with Terrell Timmons. But once you get past those 2 guys, like Tyshawn Chapman's going to play a lot, and he's only about 5'9". And then Alante Brown, who was the very last transfer they brought in, he can fly. I expect him to play. He's pretty small. But I think for the scheme that they're trying to run with Decker, he wants to space, and more space is what he's trying to get. And I think when you have all that speed, that just fits that very well. He's trying to get the ball to these guys in space to where they can make something happen. So I think offensively, the quarterbacks and the receivers are the 2 that impress me the most. The O-line, honestly, I'll just have to see. I don't really have a good enough opinion for you on that yet. We didn't get to see much of the O-line in spring. They bring back Parker Mitchell, who started last year. So if you're looking for a returning starter, there you go. And then the defense, and this is going to sound like a welcome change to Tiger fans. I think the defensive line is really strong. I think we can all agree that in the past few years, even with Memphis's best teams, whether it was Norvell or Silverfield, the D-line was never really one of the strengths. Well, Jamon Tapp is arguably the best player on the entire roster. They have him at defensive end. He turned down potentially 7-figure offers from other schools to play at Memphis. And Huff, actually, I had a quote from Huff that I asked him about the D-line during camp, and he said, when the first group's in the game, in practice, the offense couldn't move the ball when that first group of defensive line was in the game. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the clearest understanding of who that is, like outside of Tap. And that's kind of where I was getting at with his strength. Is I think it's a deep group. I think you're going to be able to see 8 or 9, maybe even 10 guys that can get in the game and contribute. And it's going to be different from Hankins in that they're running a 4-down front. It's going to be 2 tackles and 2 ends rather than the 3-down that we're used to with Hankins. So I think the D-line is a legit strength of this team. I think that's something fans should be really, really excited about because that's something Memphis has been missing.
Landon Speck joining us on the program. Going back to the quarterbacks, do you feel that they both, other than the experience or lack thereof, with Stokes you have experience, albeit at a smaller level. Now West Florida is going to move into D1. Mm-hmm. And then with Nolan, you have really no experience. Other than that, do you think they both play the same way?
I think it's tough to say about Nolan, just like you said, because we haven't seen him. But just from their skill sets, what we know about them from high school recruiting, and then Stokes coming out of West Florida, I do think they're similar. I think they're both like moderately mobile. I don't think either of them are Brendan Lewis, but both of them can move for sure. And then just watching them throw in practice, I think Stokes definitely. I think the ball just pops off Stokes' hand maybe a little bit more than Nolan, just from what I gathered. But honestly, yeah, I mean, I think as in terms of play style and skill set, I don't think there's something that one of them does that's just so much different than the other. Like, I think Memphis went out and got 2 guys that are both very similar in what they'll bring in terms of just pure football. Now, obviously, Huff has been super big on, whoever wins this job, it's not going to be just because they went out and threw the ball better than the other. Mm-hmm. You're going to have the intangible part of it. You're going to have to be a leader and be the one getting extra reps before and after practice. Just all that stuff that a quarterback needs to have. So I think, and I truly do believe that might be where this competition, where separation is created, because obviously Stokes has the experience advantage. He played at West Florida, like you said, and was one of the best Division II players. But Aaron Nolan's a talented kid, even though he hadn't gotten to play yet. He was a 5-star recruit. And the 2 schools he was at prior to Memphis, Ohio State and South Carolina, Ohio State especially, they just don't take anybody up there. So, yeah, I think they're very similar.
I don't know how much you've had a chance to really look at other rosters, and obviously coaching changes all through the conference, but where do you think it would be, like, if you're projecting right now, where would you put Memphis in the conference going into the next year?
Yeah, I have not gotten a chance to really study all the other rosters, but it's one of those, like, I expect South Florida to be good again, and it's kind of the same situation as Memphis with when, they got some money they're going to spend. They brought in Michael Van Buren at quarterback, who has some SEC experience. And Brian Hartline, a lot of people are of the belief that Brian Hartline's just going to be a stud in this profession as a Division I head football coach coming over from Ohio State. So I expect them to be a team to compete. East Carolina was a team that just at the end of the season I was thinking, like, man, these guys could be solid next year, but they kind of got bit by the bug that, a bunch of G5 programs get hit with. They lost their quarterback, they lost their offensive coordinator. So we'll see with them. But yeah, back to South Florida, they got Van Buren and then Luke Cromanhoke at quarterback, who was also a former high 4-star, low 5-star recruit. So it's another situation like Memphis where there's a lot of talent in that room. And then Navy is just one of those teams at this point where they lost a lot. They lost Horvath, they lost Eli Heidenreich, just got drafted by the Steelers in the 7th round. They lost Alex Teska, a guy at fullback that destroyed Memphis for multiple years. But with Drew Cronick back at OC, it's one of those things you almost expect Navy to be able to score some points, and they've given Memphis trouble in the past. So, I mean, they've beaten them 2 years in a row. But I expect Memphis to be in that top 4 or 5 range, like at the very least. Like, I understand it's a new team, new quarterback, new everything, but I think the team's too talented to not be in that top, really even 2 or 3 in the American. Like, I expect the top 3 conference finish for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. We know of the players that are gone from programs and the coaches, but we don't know about the players necessarily at this point who replace those guys and how good they are. So right now, it's just it's a big question mark. And even though we've had eyes, Landon, yourself, myself, and others on the Tigers, like you said, we're not privy to later in the day when they're practicing more like what they would do in a game. We'll find out more about that in August. So, I mean, there's question marks in this entire conference, but there continues to be question marks, certainly with Memphis. I would not be surprised if the Tigers go out there and they're a 10-2 team or they're a 7-5 team. And there's just a lot of things that still have to be answered. So we'll see what happens with that. As far as basketball is concerned, the recruiting continues for Penny Hardaway. He is almost done. He's got 2 more spots. Still needs to address the big position. He got 1 big, but the kid from North Alabama who's a rebounder, but they lack that size right now. What have you been able to gather as far as maybe somebody or a couple of guys that they may be going after? And what do you think of what Gabriel Harris, the new general manager, or the first general manager, and Penny Hardaway have done so far?
Yeah, I think they've been intentional in going after. Like, I feel like all these guys are just going to fit together well in this roster. I'm looking at it. I think Rahard Favors, the guy they went and first got, is a very exciting get. He's a 6'7" kid that can shoot the cover off the ball. He shoots 41% from 3. Even Jerry Dang, who comes over from NC State, and prior to that was at Florida State and Hampton. He's another one who's about 6'7", 6'8". He can play that combo forward position and can shoot the ball. And then I think with all the guards, I think it may be concerning just looking at, maybe just the straight up size. There's not a whole lot of size they got at that guard spot. Jaden Reed, Brandon Cummings, Luke Almodovar, and Josh Holloway. I mean, it's a lot of 6'2", 6'3", and Jaden Reed even is 5'11". But what I like about Reed especially is that he's a real point guard. He averaged 5 assists a game in the Big Ten last year, which I believe was 5th in that conference. And so when I look at these guys, I can see this ending up being like, okay, maybe, obviously Tyler Weeks is our guy, right? He averaged almost 20 points a game at Southern Miss. So he's the guy you're looking at thinking is going to lead the team in scoring. But past him, and even he fits in well with these guys. Once you get past him, it's like I could really envision this being a real team that's very connected, which I think we can all agree was just something that was missing last year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like what they've done, and I want to address this too about the big position because, like you said, that's what you led off with. They only have the one Cornelius Williams from North Alabama, but just from following the basketball portal so far this offseason, I think the market at that spot is crazy. There are guys who came off the bench at high major programs. Like I believe there was a kid at Auburn, Philip Jovich, who I think he was even an undersized 5. I think he was about 6'8" or so. He left Auburn for 6 or 7 figures, like well into 7 figures at UCLA after averaging like 7 points a game or something like that. So I just think after teams saw what Arizona and Michigan did and Duke in the tournament this year, where they just rolled out these lineups of just giants. Michigan had Yadsville and Morris Johnson, Daimara just on the court at the same time. I think they're seeing that model. And, obviously when a team goes and wins the national championship with a roster like that, teams are going to want to copy it. So I think the big man market is really, really tough. But yeah, they got 2 more spots they're going to have to fill that with. They only have one in the boat so far.
Are there still guys out there that could be, players that could play here that are, as it continues to, these rosters continue to fill up, are there still bigs out there in the portal that you think could help the Tigers?
I think there are. I don't think there's any that's going to knock your socks off.
Yeah.
Just when you look at their transfer ranking, there's not some just blue chipper out there that you have to go get. Memphis was actually just in it with the JUCO kid that ended up going to UAB, and that just seemed like it was something to do with the role. Like UAB potentially offered him a starting position or a guaranteed amount of playing time, and Memphis just couldn't do it. And like I just said, that was a JUCO player. So, obviously, I think there's always talent out there for them to find. I just think in this market right now, with the big position in general, I just think it's going to be a lot tougher than what it was with the guards and with the forwards, all the other positions, and even compared to years past. This is every year we go through this portal, it gets crazy and crazy, and there's more money being dished out. And at some point, I like to think, man, this isn't sustainable. We're not going to be able to keep giving out these amounts of money. And yet every year we go on and it's just more. So, yeah, like I said, there's talent out there, but I do, unfortunately for Tiger fans, believe it's going to be hard to find.
It's a good time to be a college kid who's 6'9" or 6'10".
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
there's
pretty good
6'10", 6'11" college kids out there that are averaging 2-3 points a game, getting $500,000. I mean, that's the thing.
You can't teach height.
No,
Landon
you can't.
Speck joining us on the program. He covers the Tigers for On 3 Memphis and the Grizzlies now at Sports Illustrated. Just started that gig recently, and you've written already at least a few articles on the Grizzlies, who are getting ready to find out on Sunday where they will pick in the lottery. We know that they'll also have the 16th pick in the first round and the 32nd overall pick. That's in the second round. So what are you thinking right now as far as the Grizzlies are concerned about some of the guys that you believe, if they fall into that position, that they should be going after?
Well, spoiler alert, I'm really high on this draft. I don't think there's anybody that's not.
Right, right.
Yeah. But so I do think there's a lot of discussion, about the Grizzlies potentially jumping up into the top 3 or top 4, which is obviously what everyone wants. And that top 4 seems very set with DeBansta, Peterson, Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson. Everybody knows that. But I think the good news is for this draft is if you don't get lucky and hop into that top 4, if you do stay back in that 5 to 7 range, I don't think you're necessarily out of luck. I think you're still going to get a really, really good player. I think, so that's where I'll start. I just think if you end up at, that 5, 6, 7 spot, the 3 guys that are in there in most of the mock drafts are Kingston Fleming, the guard from Houston, Udarius Acuff Jr. from Arkansas. I mean, obviously we all know him. And then Keaton Wagler, a guard from Illinois, that he just took his team to the Final Four as a 19-year-old freshman. So I think there's so much talent in this draft. It's pretty wild. And I also think it bodes well for what the Grizzlies need. I think when you look at their core and what they're trying to build right now, obviously they love Cedric Coward and Zach Edey, and those are 2 guys that they want to build a team around. And I think both of those guys have the potential to be really good players for a while. But I think what they're missing is that ball-dominant, just 1A option, because as much as I love Cedric Coward and as much as he might have the potential to be that, I don't think it's something you should necessarily rely on. I think he fits in more as your wing defender, maybe secondary ball handler or something, kind of like a Desmond Bane, not as good offensively, but, that same type of role on offense where he's maybe not the primary ball handler. And I think that's what they can get in this draft. So I think out of the guys I named, I've been a Fleming fan for a while. Maybe people haven't talked about him as much just because Acuff was so good at the end of the year, and Wagler had the tournament run he had. But Fleming, he's listed 6'4". Some people doubt how big he actually is, but he came into a Houston program as a freshman and just ran that point guard spot from day one and was rock solid. And I think anyone that comes out of that program, I'm okay with, especially if they're as talented as Fleming is. And then, Acuff, I do see it, obviously, with Acuff. It's hard not to. He's elite offensively. I do think it's valid to be concerned, though, about the defense, because I think we've seen it recently with Trae Young, or even Cleveland right now with Donovan Mitchell, where they're going on multiple years of having Mitchell as their lead guard, or Atlanta had Young for a while, and it was as good as they were on offense. It was just kind of hard to build around him because they were small guards who don't really excel in the defensive end of the floor. And I've seen some other people bring this point up, too. The Grizzlies are just getting out of an era. I guess they're technically still in it with Morant on the roster, but it doesn't seem like it's going to end up that way. We're getting out of an era where the Grizzlies have built a team around a small guard that doesn't necessarily excel defensively and has some offensive limitations. So I think they're going to be very careful about that. And then with Wagler compared to the others who has the size, I mean, he's listed 6'6". He's more of a 2 guard than a 1. But he's just a weird situation because he didn't really get recruited until the very end of the cycle. He was a 3-star for a while, and then his play style is really it's unique. It's kind of, I'm not trying to compare him to Luka Doncic, but that's like what you see in terms of he doesn't play above the rim as a guard. He's playing with pace, he's playing meticulous, and he's not some high flyer. But he's really skilled. I think he's one of those ones people could overthink. It's like sure, he doesn't dunk every possession like Ja Morant, but he averaged 18 a game and took his team to the Final Four as a 19-year-old. I mean, he's pretty good at basketball. So, yeah, I think no matter where the Grizzlies end up, I think even if they get real unlucky and fall to 8 or 9, I think that top 9 is a solid spot for any team in this draft. It's not really until you get to that 10, 11 where, maybe there's a drop-off and you're like, dang, that stinks that they weren't able to stay. Yeah, but they have the 6th highest odds right now, so if things go the way they should, I envision the Grizzlies getting a good player in this draft.
Real quick, we're short on time, but I know you wrote about Ja and you wrote about some possible destinations. Other than Sacramento, which has come up. I think Minnesota's come up. Is there anything that really that you think is a real strong possibility of where Ja could be dealt to?
Yeah, the one that interests me the most is Milwaukee. Milwaukee, as we know, hired Taylor Jenkins as their Nets head coach, and so there's a relationship there. And then the big domino in that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. There was so much trade buzz around him at the deadline, and it never happened. But I could see a scenario where if Giannis does get moved this summer, that the Bucks pivot and make a deal for Ja as like their new guy to, I don't want to say build around, but I mean, yeah, like kind of build the team around him. And the reason is because if you're Milwaukee, once you move Giannis, you're transitioning into a rebuild of your own. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a spot where I think it's okay to take a dart throw on a guy that obviously needs a change of scenery and obviously has a ton of talent. And so if you trade for him and it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. You're not in a position where you're trying to win right now, kind of like a team like Miami would be. So I think with the relationship with Jenkins and then the Bucks roster being in the spot it would be, I think that'd be a good spot.
All right. Great stuff, Landon. He's Landon Speck, again, covering the Tigers for On3 Memphis and the Grizzlies for Sports Illustrated. You can follow him on Twitter at Landon Speck 2. We'll do this again here in the not-too-distant future. Thanks so much. Great job.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Fleet Feet, the place to go to get all your running gear. Go see the folks at either the East Memphis location in the Laurelwood Shopping Center or out in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy next door to Huey's. They take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, fit you with shoes that are just right for you, plus any advice maybe you need about getting started running or training for races. If you want to get involved in their group runs and other things they do, talk to the folks at Fleet Feet. They'll answer any questions that you have. They'll help you in any way they can. It's all about runners, all about the running community. But again, whether you're running, walking, if you're just on your feet a lot, having shoes that are just right for you is a big thing to keep you healthy, and that's exactly what they'll do for you at Fleet Feet. Plus all your other gear as well, they've got you taken care of. You can also find them online at fleetfeetmemphis.com, where they keep you up to date with the things they've got going on. They're also on social media doing that as well. But go by and see them at either one of the two stores at Fleet Feet.
Does Ja have a good relationship with Taylor, or was it soured?
That's a little bit unknown.
Right.
Ja did not like the offense, but that was not necessarily Taylor's offense that last year. So,
okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I've heard all kinds of different things. So obviously, if they have a strained relationship, that ain't going to work out in Milwaukee. But if they still have a very good relationship, then yeah, that's a possibility. All right, we'll take a timeout. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at codesdispensary.com. That's codesdispensary.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You
are an adult. You can drink anywhere you want to. So why would you go to some chain bar when you could be one of the cool kids and go to Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar? Things are hopping in downtown Memphis, and Bell Tavern is smack dab in the middle of it. You know where nothing is happening? A big, loud chain bar full of people that don't know about Bell Tavern. Come on, visit Bell Tavern and feel better than other people.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:28 the time. Final 30 and change here on this Wednesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings.
The Athletic has been rolling out results of their anonymous player poll. Today they released the most overrated and underrated players.
Is this NBA?
Yes.
Okay.
Who would you guess the players believe is the most overrated player in the league?
Luka Doncic.
Luka got 3.7% of the vote.
JM?
Paolo Banchero.
Paolo Banchero, 4.9% of the vote. Tied with Ja Morant, as a matter of fact, at 4.9% of the vote, which is a tie for fifth.
Okay. Let's think here. Most overrated player. It's got to be a fairly good name, fairly big name. Who would they think is overrated?
Where's Donovan Mitchell on that list?
He is not.
Good.
Because he's not overrated.
Right.
How about Şengün?
Alperen Şengün, 12.3%.
Is that number one?
Yes. Rudy Gobert and Trae Young at 8.6%, tied for second.
Trey.
And Cat at 7.4% is fourth. Then you got Banchero and Ja. And then a group, Denny Avdia is in there at 3.7% with Scotty Barnes, Luka, and Pascal Siakam.
Okay, wait a minute here.
Wow.
Okay, I could see some of the players thinking Luka's overrated. Denny and, first of all, Scotty Barnes is not overrated at all. And Denny is I don't even think he's a blip on the radar. Like, he would be, I don't think he'd be overrated. I think he'd be underrated.
These are from the players, right?
Yes.
Okay. They had a different take than we do.
That's right. They know these guys personally and play against them.
You hear some of this come out on players' podcasts sometimes when they kind of just spill out. It may not be inactive. They may wait till after they're done, but they'll talk about some stories.
Well, your point is well taken because, again, they know all these guys. And I'm just thinking of Denny being like, most people don't even know who the hell the guy is. Plus, He plays in Portland. He's underrated, but okay. But yeah.
Well, he became known this year. He's an all-star.
Still, you throw out that name, and a lot of people that are just marginal NBA fans probably don't know who he plays
the same
for.
guy that said Tyrese Halliburton was last year.
Well, Halliburton got 2.5% this year.
He
didn't even play.
He's tied with Dylan Brooks, Tyler Hero, Evan Mobley, Brandon Pajemski, and Domantas Sabonis all got 2.5% of the vote.
Again, who's like Pajemski? Where are they getting their thought? Like, okay, he's overrated. Nobody's even rating the guy. You gotta come from somewhere to be overrated.
Peer to peer.
There were only 81 votes cast for overrated. Now, on underrated, there were 151 votes cast. And there was a tie for first, although these votes are very much spread out. But there are two guys tied for first for underrated.
What conference are we looking at?
Eastern Conference.
So you're saying two guys, what did you just say? Two guys are tied?
Yes.
Okay. From the East, both from the Eastern Conference.
The top of the underrated, not both guys that are tied for first are from, but the top of the underrated has very much a one-team theme.
Okay, well, I'll tell you who the tie. I know one of the guys. I'm guessing it's Cade Cunningham.
Sounds like a good guess.
Cade Cunningham got 2% of the
Wow,
votes.
okay, all right. So I guess he's properly
Scotty
rated.
Barnes, by the way, 2% of underrated.
How about any of those Charlotte Hornets?
No.
No Brandon Miller. No, none of that.
Let's see. If we go down. No, I don't see.
Underrated.
I'm guessing these are playoff teams, too.
Derek White?
Derek White, 4% of the vote. It's tied for first.
I can believe that one.
And the top, again, the other guy that's tied with him is not. But after Derek White at 4%.
Then we have a theme.
At 3.3%, Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Drew Holiday, the former Celtic, and Austin Reeves.
Did OG Anunoby get any votes on the underrated side?
He got 1.3%. Okay. He's tied with Desmond Bain, Bam Adebayo, Sadiq Bey, Anthony Black, Cooper Flagg, Josh Giddey, Dylan Harper.
Okay, how about Jalen Johnson up there with...
Jalen Johnson is tied with Derek White.
God, I got both of them.
They're both at 4%.
I didn't see this. No, I didn't. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, the league really likes the Celtics players. It's just Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, all three, according to the players, are three of the top 5 most underrated players, and one of the others that isn't a Celtic is the former Celtic Drew Holiday.
Damn.
And when those dudes make shots, they do shred you, and they kind of do it at a low-key, low-maintenance clip.
Couldn't throw Sam Hauser in there, too?
Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Brandon Ingram both got 2.6%. At 2%, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, Chris Dunn, Colin Gillespie, Kawhi Leonard, Jaden McDaniels, and Donovan Mitchell. There's your Donovan Mitchell on the underrated side. There are no Grizzlies
on either list.
On the Ja.
Oh, Ja, that's right. You said
there's no Grizzlies on the underrated list.
Soon to be former Grizzly.
I'm surprised Cooper Flagg is on there on underrated.
I would be surprised that Cooper's there and no Con. I would think Con will at least got 1% or something like that, but
yeah, I don't think there is a single one of the Hornets
in the year that they overachieve.
Yeah, like that's.
Did you hear about?
Just look at. I don't see a single one of the Hornets on here.
Did you hear what Masai Ujiri, the new Mavericks GM, had to say about why he took the job?
No, I just saw that he got the job.
He
but I didn't
said,
see his presser.
The primary reason I took the job was Cooper Flagg.
I can rock with that. Good starting point to build from.
Blank, Sherlock.
Well, I would think, if you want to be honest, you know why? Here's why I took the job. 1, I don't have a job right now. I'm out of a job. Number 2, I like money, and they're offering money. No state tax. There's a lot of things I could throw in there. But yeah, Cooper Flagg.
I would thought for sure Musa Cisse was the reason he took the job.
Well, hopefully he doesn't go all crazy and trade Cooper Flagg. Trade Cooper Flagg to the Lakers.
Dwight Powell. I can't believe Dwight Powell wasn't his reason for wanting the Dallas job.
He made Derek Lively made a great spark for him. You know.
I think the players are probably lower on that totem pole. I mean, when you don't have a job, right? Was he working?
Well, they just hoping that Masai don't get into it with the police anymore in the post game, you know?
Exactly. All right, a couple of other things before we take our next break. From the NFL, this is good news. I think it was Schefter reported this. Negotiations between the NFL and NFL Referees Association has progressed far enough that the union has scheduled a ratification vote tomorrow night. So hopefully we can put to bed this whole scabs deal, different officials to start the season. That would have been a disaster. Again, it's not over. They got to ratify it, but hopefully they get to where they're all in agreement and the regular official, as I don't want to say they're bad, but as tough as the job is, and sometimes there's some bad calls, you don't want to know, because we've had it before. We've had referees before. We've had replacement players before.
I just think about that Monday night game in Seattle.
Exactly.
It was a disaster.
Good memory, man. Really good memory.
It ended the problem that year.
It ended the problem instantly.
From Major League Baseball, Tarek Skubal to have surgery to remove some, what they call, I guess is the medical terminology, loose bodies in his left elbow. He'll miss 3 months, more than likely, but a physician talking to the beat writer for the Detroit Tigers said he could be out 3 to 6 months. They could lose Skubal for the rest of the year. Probably not, but...
Anytime you're messing around in the elbow, you don't... You don't know for sure. It's the same thing. There's been others that, you could get in there and it may not be as bad as you thought, or maybe much worse than you thought once you get in there and start seeing what those loose bodies are that are floating around there. That's it. Detroit's got a bunch of guys hurt, and then last night you had Frember Valdez throwing at Trevor Story and his manager coming out and basically saying, like, that's not the way we do things around here. Like, he's trying to say it wasn't on purpose, but the manager's like, no, it looked an awful lot like it was on purpose, and that's not what we're doing around here.
Right.
So that doesn't look good, as you now need him to be really the ace of that team. They've got some other pitchers that are hurt. That is a massive, massive loss for the Tigers.
Here's another quote from Ujiri. Asked if he would have traded Luka. Here's his response. In Africa, we say, when kings go, kings come. And a king went. And we have a little prince here that we're going to turn into a king. Interesting.
Very interesting.
When kings go, kings come. Yeah, but here's the thing. When they made the trade, they had no idea they were going to luck out in the draft and get Cooper Flagg. They lucked out. They traded the guy not knowing they were going to get Cooper Flagg. Yes, Cooper Flagg could be a prince that turns into the king, but they traded a king. That's why the other dude is gone.
That's why the other dude is out the door.
Out the door. From recruiting news, LSU, obviously you got Wade back. He's got an all-star coaching staff. According to these reports, they have one player that they've gotten. Now, I don't know if they have any.
They just got a second.
They just got it. Yeah, that was the story. They got a second player committing. His name is Marcio Santos. And it seems like now the goal of the staff, which includes former Memphis assistant coach Johnny Jones, former Memphis assistant coach Rick Stansbury, former Memphis assistant coach Damon Stoudemire, that they're going international. That right now the whole focus, Will Wade's team, is going to be a completely international team that will play in Baton Rouge. But is that even possible that really they only have 2 players? Like they don't have any leftovers from last year that were walk-ons or something? I mean, just literally two players.
He was specific about it, too. He said the money is going to the guys that are going to play.
Man, it's hard to believe at this point. We talk about, Penny hasn't even filled his roster yet. He has 2 more guys. They have 2 dudes.
In the Southeastern Conference, they got 2 dudes.
They'd have to forfeit every game. They wouldn't have enough players.
They'll have to play Damon.
Have to play what?
Have to play Damon Stoudemire.
Well, hey, he might be able to sue and have some eligibility left. I don't know. At this day and age, maybe he's got the years of eligibility somewhere he can find.
Another stormy day when you're heading out for lunch. Why not go inside where it's nice and warm and it smells great? And that's Corky's. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue for lunch or for dinner at their 4 locations in the Memphis area. Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Now you can also roll through the drive-thru, bring home the food to your family for dinner, whatever the case may be. But just pick up some delicious slow-smoked barbecue. They've been making it for 40 years. They've also been catering that entire time. You have an event coming up, you want it catered, let Corky's cater it for you, starting as low as $7.99 per person. But also, if you want delivery, $3.99 local delivery set price at Corky's. So take advantage of that. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Men, if you're tired of relying on pills and want lasting, natural performance in the bedroom, Bluff City Health and Wellness offers Apex RF. Backed by clinical research, this discreet 15-minute, non-surgical treatment boosts blood flow, sensitivity, and confidence. No pills, no needles, no side effects. Appointments are filling fast. Call Bluff City Health and Wellness today at 901-800-7606 or take the ED quiz at bchwonline.com. Bluff City Health and Wellness, your confidence in the bedroom naturally.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Hey Memphis, Kayla Clement from Memphis Softball. You work hard for your money, so choose a financial team that works just as hard for you. Southern Security Credit Union offers great rates, personal service, and a local touch you can trust. Visit southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900 to join today. Southern Security Credit Union, your home team credit union, is a proud supporter of the Memphis Athletics and 901 Women and is federally insured by the NCUA.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening is coming to the Graceland Soundstage. Saturday, May 9th at 8 p.m. Jason's thunderous drumming recalls one of the greatest to ever sit behind the skins, his late father, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. This is as close as you will ever get to letting the lead out live. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Get your tickets today at GracelandLive.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:44 is the time. Yahoo Sports reporting that Ted Turner, I thought Ted Turner had died already. Ted Turner has passed away. The media maverick who founded CNN, once owned the Braves, the Atlanta Hawks, died at the age of 87 on Wednesday, per Turner Enterprises, but saw the story on Yahoo Sports. My gosh, I thought Ted Turner had been dead for 10 years. I'm going to make sure I'm not been getting faked out here or anything like that, but... I'll just say what last year you got some guy... Sorry, trying to open the story up. Yeah, you never know. Ted Turner, man, you talk about bringing the Braves and the Hawks into households, the Superstation, and all that he did.
The Braves, the Hawks, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, the wrestling too. I mean,
Ric Flair, by the way, did you see him calling out Luca?
I did, and I'm like, Rick, you need to really leave these young people alone.
But I can respect because Rick played hurt.
Rick wrestled until he was 73 with a pacemaker, and he actually wrestled for another 40 years after he broke his back in 1975. So
wait, so in what platform was he calling out?
He was saying he's got to get on the get on the court. You're making $50 million
just
a year.
on social media.
You got to get out there and play. So,
you scared me. I thought you were saying Ric Flair's like still wrestling. I'm like, well, God forbid.
Actually, he wrestled his last match 4 years ago with a pacemaker.
They're a different breed, aren't they?
But yeah,
pro wrestlers.
I could respect Ric Flair for saying a guy needs to play hurt because Ric Flair
for
played
all
hurt.
Been through, yeah.
That man, you could not question him as far as the willingness to get out there and play through an injury.
Yeah, Ted Turner. I mean, now the Commercial Appeal's reporting it. I thought he had passed away, but yeah, you talk about a maverick, and then he was part of the what was the boat, the yacht races. Right, he was a big part of that stuff too, and then he married Jane Fonda.
CNN, just in general.
CNN, my gosh.
Headline news from what they did with the Gulf War, they just spread it out, everything, for CNN.
But he was TBS as well, right?
He was the guy that kickstarted TBS.
Yeah, so again,
TNT
you started to get those teams again.
Cartoon
The Braves
Network, all the stuff that he just introduced to us,
But it became the Braves became sort of a national team. Because you could watch them pretty much everywhere.
Yep.
Just like in New York, I think with was it WGN or one of the ones in New
WGN
York? You
with
could
Chicago,
see.
WWOR.
WGN Chicago and WWOR.
Yeah, WOR in New York.
Yeah, they became these superstations that you could see these products. And in this case, whether it be the Cubs were on that, right? Cubs were on WGN. Mets in New York, because the Yankees were on WPXI, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah,
and
the Mets were WOR.
Yeah, Mets were WOR, and then of course the Braves with Turner.
The tweet from Ric Flair last night, and he even tagged Luka. He was not backing down. He wasn't just going to throw it out there. He made sure he tagged Luka in it. He said, "Luka, please get in the game. Take a shot of cortisone and deal with the pain. They're paying you $50 million a year, and you're not there. WTF? Hope Jeannie Buss," tagging Jeannie Buss, "trades you next year.
Whoa.
Nobody wants a lame duck on their team."
Rick, you're a little late. Gina's kind of out of the way.
I was going to say.
She's gone.
He didn't get that memo, which is okay, though. Like, hey, but he at least is still, he ain't afraid to tag him, let him know his feeling. Like, hey, Luka's going to see this. Like, Luka, wow, Ric Flair tweeted about me. Oh, crap, he wants me traded.
So he's a big Lakers fan, obviously?
He's a long-time Lakers fan.
Does he live out there?
No, he was a fan of the Showtime Lakers, but ironically, he wasn't too fond of Magic Johnson. He said when he met Magic wasn't really endearing to him. So, but he still loved the Lakers.
And an hour before the Luka tweet, he tweeted, "LeBron, tonight you and the Lakers will make history. So much respect for you." And then he threw in his whoa.
Well, here's
so he liked LeBron. So apparently, after he had told LeBron that they were going to make history, he realized that they weren't, and he was like, "Okay, for us to make history, Luka's got to play. So let me yell at Luka to get a cortisone shot and get his ass on the floor."
But you know what? I kind of understand what he's saying, where he's coming from, without, of course, him knowing the extent of the injuries. Here's the thing: when we went into the postseason and those guys got hurt, I thought it was Doncic week to week, and then it was Austin Reeves done.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't it? Austin Reeves was done.
That's what
and now
I
Austin
remember.
Reeves is playing.
Right.
So, again, I don't know what's wrong with Doncic and what the seriousness of it is, but I'm kind of with Ric Flair, man. Cortisone. Hey, look, let me tell you something. I'm going to be 65 years old. And this is a lot different. I'm going to be 65 years old. I could not walk 2 weeks ago, whatever, with a back. I couldn't move. I mean, I fell on the floor and was stuck on the floor for a couple hours. I went to Campbell Clinic. I went to chiropractor. I said, "Give me a cortisone shot. I'm about to go on a golf trip and play 108 holes in 5 days." They gave me a cortisone shot. It was still hurting a little bit. Then it got better. I went out there, played all 108 holes. My back's feeling great right now, and I feel great that I was able to do that. So, damn it, Doncic.
It's going to be all good
Get a cortisone shot.
Until Luka takes that cortisone shot, gets out there, and he shreds that hamstring, and everybody's coming to look for the nature boy.
I know. He's making a lot more money than I am, and that had nothing to do with money, my trip. But, yeah, I understand. But then I kind of get what Flair's saying, what other people say, especially old school people. It's like, get the hell in there. Rub some dirt on it. Put some tussin. Put some tussin on it.
So 51 minutes ago, I guess because of all the responses, Ric Flair decided he would get back on and respond. He said, FYI, obviously they're not going to trade Luka. He's their future. He's their franchise. But do the math. He averages 33 points a game. If he has 20, LeBron has 27, and the rest of the team, they win. I would have said the same thing about Jason Tatum on the Celtics, but I'm not a Boston fan. For $46 million a year, I think you can play. Everyone is allowed to have their own opinion, and this is mine.
Well, while his math makes sense, it doesn't always work out that way.
The fun part about Ric Flair, he's a Lakers fan, and Dusty Rhodes was a legitimate Boston Celtics fan, like actually had stock in the team and everything back in the day. So their rivalry was not just in the ring. It was in, they betting backstage on the NBA Finals and all that kind of fun stuff. So
did you watch
did Dusty Rhodes come out about Tatum not playing again?
He probably would have.
Did you watch the Hulk bio?
No, I didn't. I let that one go. I've seen a lot of.
This was like the last interview he did before he died. I watched that. Look, you're a big wrestling fan. I hear you with John and Dustin and all that, and I respect all those guys as athletes, what they do, what
different
they
breed,
did.
like you said.
Different breed, but it is really strange when ESPN gets their hooks on something, they make it like they've always been. ESPN did nothing with wrestling. Nothing.
They did nothing with it other than accept the money from the AWA and World Class Championship Wrestling back in the day to air their program in the afternoon for an hour.
Except
or so.
the money, but they never had
no
stories.
promotion.
They never brought the wrestlers on. Now, I say it to Eli, every time we're in here, they're talking about wrestling. It's just like with gambling. Right? Gambling was not now the gambling is like accepted and legal.
All of the big events are on the ESPN Unlimited app now.
Well, yeah, now they got a whole bunch of money invested in wrestling.
They're completely invested into it.
They're trying to get some of that money back.
But that's my point. It was never even a thing.
But like you said, they all of a sudden when they got in it was like, we've always been in it.
We've always been supporters of all these pro wrestlers. They're in here, and now you see Greenberg interview them like every single morning. There's somebody in studio.
It started really when Ric Flair did the 30 for 30 on Rick like 10 years ago, right after he almost died.
Yeah, they may do a 30 for 30, but as far as like Sports Center and these other shows, they never brought on those guests.
And they had one guy who was a WWE commentator who worked on Sports Center for a while, Jonathan Coachman. He kind of was the link to that.
Jonathan Coachman, absolutely.
He was the link to that. But Coach doesn't even mess with WWE anymore either.
No.
He just, he still talks wrestling, but just away from that.
I met Coach, and I forget where I met him, but I did meet Coach. Really nice guy. All right, so tonight, 2 NBA playoff games. The series resume in New York and in San Antonio. The Sixers and the Knicks. I bet Ben Stiller is going to be at the game this time. There's not another.
He's not going to miss
another gala, I don't believe, the Met Gala. So Sixers, Knicks. The Knicks 7.5-point favorites, and then the Spurs and the Timberwolves. Spurs 9.5-point favorites, despite the Timberwolves winning Game 1. So right now it's 1-0 Minnesota, 1-0 New York. In case you missed it last night, Pistons over the Cavs 111 to 101 to grab a 1-0 lead in their series. And the Thunder beat the Lakers 108 to 90, much to the dismay of Ric Flair, and they grab a 1-0 lead in that series. I hate to tell Ric Flair, even with Luka Doncic, as we talked about to start the show, ain't going to make no difference. Ain't going to make no difference. Maybe the Lakers get one. They ain't winning that series. Eli, what are you reading over there? Anything interesting? So, again, the news that just broke, Ted Turner, who I thought had died 10 years ago, is dead at the age of 87. Man, was he in bad health for years? I haven't heard Ted Turner's name probably in 10 years. Just hopefully enjoyed life, his final years in health, and then just maybe old age got him. But again, Ted Turner, who was a huge pioneer in a lot of things we do, watching the superstations, watching CNN, TBS, and again, getting involved in the yacht racing, America's Cup, I think is what it was, right? Maybe Courageous. Was it Courageous?
The America's Cup, I remember that.
Ted Turner and Dennis Miller may have even been the captain for his. I think Ted actually was on some of the yachts when they were racing. But I remember America's Cup and Ted and Dennis Miller. Is that the guy's name? I think it's Dennis Miller because it's the same as the guy who was on Saturday Night Live, the comedian. But Ted Turner has passed away at the age of 87. All right, well, that'll do it for us today. Want to thank our guests, DeMichael Cole and Landon Speck. Tomorrow we'll have a number of guests, including Kerry Miller, as we talk Major League Baseball. Lots going on in Big League Baseball. Again, coming up next, it's Rolo and Friends on Sports 56, and at 9:25, Penny Hardaway will join Dave Woloshin. For Eli Savoy, for Jay Ham, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.